Hey guys, welcome back to another stream. This is the second stream of the day. This is essentially sort of an emergency stream because it was just announced that Kim Jones has now officially exited Dior. I mean, this is something that I guess was inevitable because people keep talking about different designers that are going to replace different designers at Dior and so forth. So of course, there's been so much speculation, and within that speculation, people did say that it's likely that Kim Jones would be leaving Dior. So, courtesy of BOF, they reported that, of course, Kim Jones exits Dior. Jones is leaving his position as artistic director of the LVMH owned menswear line after 7 years. Neither his successor nor his next moves were announced. I mean, the day that this all happened with Bottega Veneta, when Matteo Blasi left Bottega, and then hours later, it was announced that he was at Chanel, and then obviously Louis Trotter was announced that going to Bottega. So this might happen, or they might, wait a bit longer to announce the news. But anyway, let's read further. Also, I can't believe that one, Kim Jones was at Dior for 7 years, because it doesn't feel like 7 years. It feels a lot shorter. I literally feel like it was yesterday when he had his last menswear collection at Louis Vuitton. And he had, was it Kate Moss and Naomi Campbell on one arm? And Naomi Campbell was wearing those Louis Vuitton like boots. That feels like yesterday, and then all of a sudden there's the Cause Dior collection with his debut. Like, am I that old? 7 years felt like it just went in a flash. That's what's concerning me, actually. But let's read on. Kim Jones is stepping down as artistic director of Dior Homme after 7 years designing the hit menswear line. Jones left LVMH stablemate Louis Vuitton for Dior in 2018. There, he strengthened the link between the brand's menswear and the founding aesthetic of the house, leaning into a regal fashion fantasy with deftly draped tailoring, at times with cinched waists in a nod to the house's signature bar suit. The revamped formal wear was blended with savvy merchandising and rapid-fire collaborations with a diverse cast of artists and brands, from Peter Doig to Nike, which helped tap demand from tribal streetwear-informed fashion customers at a time of rapid casualization in the luxury industry. Sales of men's products grew roughly fivefold to over 1.2 billion euros in the first 5 years of his tenure at the brand. It was a true honor to be able to create my collections within the House of Dior, a symbol of absolute excellence, Jones said in a statement. I'm extremely grateful for the remarkable work done by Kim Jones, his studio, and the ateliers. With all his talent and creativity, he has constantly reinterpreted the house's heritage with genuine freedom of tone and surprising, highly desirable artistic collaborations, said Dior CEO Delphine Arnault. The English designer's next moves are unknown. Jones's exit comes as market sources say LVMH is preparing to transfer Loewe designer Jonathan Anderson to Dior, betting on a creative shakeup to reverse slowing sales. Tuesday, LVMH reported fourth quarter sales up 1%, with fashion and leather goods sales falling 1% on an organic basis. So that is really the story. But like I said earlier, it does not feel like 7 years to me. It really doesn't. The next man is saying it felt like a long 7 years. Not to me, to be very honest with you. It doesn't feel that way. I don't, it just doesn't feel like that. Like, literally, let me see if I can find that runaway video. Yeah, it was this show. It genuinely feels like, yes, like I genuinely remember watching the show. Like, I can remember what I was doing when I was watching the show. I remember where I was. This feels like yesterday. Like how time flies. Well, it was very fast because of Fendi. I guess because Kim was doing a lot of things at once, right? Like obviously Fendi and Dior at the same time at one point. People are saying that this means that Eddie Saman is going back to Dior. I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, there's a very tiny possibility, but everyone is saying that Jonathan Anderson is going to Dior. And the person that has, stepped down is Kim Jones. So You just have to 1 + 1 = 2 type thing. Yeah, I'm just waiting for that moment. Yeah, exactly. This is the moment I was talking about where he walked out with Naomi Campbell and Kate Moss. This genuinely feels like it happened not that long ago. And it's funny because a lot of the reasons why funny thing actually, a lot of the reasons why at first it took me a while to warm up into Kim Jones's Dior. I eventually did end up liking it over time. But why I didn't like it early, I do think Kim Jones definitely is one of the few fashion designers that, understands streetwear. But I think sometimes he did lean into it a bit too much. I do think he had probably one of the biggest collaborations of the 2000s, like 2010s, let's say. The collaboration between Supreme and Louis Vuitton it's when he was, at LV that happened. So, and I felt like at Dior, when he first went to Dior, it was too collaborative. I mean, he had this collection, obviously, the debut, massive course installation. I mean, some of the garments were actually really interesting because the color palette obviously was an ode to Monsieur Dior himself. You had these pieces that did really well commercially, the oblique sneakers that people called them, the saddle bags, but in different like iterations, part of the belts. They obviously tapped Matthew Williams to make the hardware, and that was when the leaks was all the rage, the roller coaster belt buckles. They tapped into that. They had Stephen Jones designing some of the hats, which was really cool because Stephen Jones talks about, how it was really difficult to balance the weight coming from how heavy the buckle was. So he had to do a lot of manipulation with the hats to make sure that it could sit on your head properly, which was interesting to see him talk about in the interview. So that was interesting. They tapped Yoon on to do the accessories. And the funny thing is, it almost felt like at the time that Dior was sort of let me not say training spots because these were all accomplished designers, but there was the stopping place before all these designers went to do their big things. So I remember the conversation we were having around that time was that Matthew Williams, working under Kim Jones at Dior, was kind of training for him to go to Givenchy, and then he eventually ended up there. Yoon Ahn, of course, has gone from strength to strength with Ambush, but also with Nike collaborations and stuff like that. So it definitely seemed that, they were kind of like, it's like a training ground for designers. It's kind of crazy. But it just seemed too collaborative, and I wanted to see what Kim Jones's ideas were. Like, what is your signature? What is your aesthetic? And I don't think we truly got that until a few seasons later. And that was something that I used to struggle with in terms of Kim Jones's Dior, to be honest. Wait, it made the later years seem quiet by contrast. No, I think this improved. This is why I said I warmed into Kim Jones's Dior, definitely. I think early I always used to say it like this is because when Kim Jones has a collaboration, it's never like a lot of brands they do collaborations where it's just like a few pieces in a collection. When Kim Jones does a collab, it takes over the whole collection and it always just feels like he didn't design it. Obviously he did, but that's how it feels looking at the collections where there's too much imprint from the collaborator and it doesn't seem like there's a back and forth between you guys. Yeah, Kim Jones's last collection, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. I'm still going to review that later, but I really did enjoy that. The color palette. I will say though, looking back at this collection, everything sold. When I think about this collection, those translucent shirts sold like crazy. The saddlebags sold like crazy. The other saddle accessories sold like crazy. The footwear, oblique sneakers sold like crazy. This collection did sensationally well commercially. I'm like, yeah, people used to wear that stuff. Like, wow. Kim was rightfully so, giving people opportunities with the collaborations at Dior. I think my only critique was he reached the peak and collections didn't really change, but they were wearable and good. Yeah, I understand giving people an opportunity, but also like just as a fan of Kim Jones's and as a fan of fashion, I just wanted to see what his ideas were. That's what I wanted to know. Because then you have like collections like this, right? This was the collection Dior Men Fall 2020, which was when he did the collaboration with Stussy. But once again, it just felt like a Stussy collection. Like it genuinely, if you told me that this was a Stussy collection, I would have believed you until I saw like the Dior prints. I genuinely would have believed you until I saw like Dior written everywhere and like the Dior prints. So that was really my issue. And it almost felt like he didn't have any signatures, really. It was very much, there was a certain tailoring that he used to do, like shape of tailoring. But outside of that, it was very random, extremely random. Dior Homme 2020, summer, he had amazing pieces, degradé pleats. But the thing is, Kim Jones was expensive, a lot of pieces, demi couture. Oh, yeah, I remember specifically the Daniel Arsham show. Um, the stuff in that collection was super expensive. I remember some of the shirts were going for like 8K, and that was back then. The stuff was super, super expensive for sure. But the thing about techniques, though, is that if you're a designer and you have the whole ass Dior atelier to your disposal, I would like to believe that you're going to use interesting techniques. So I don't know if that means if it's like, oh my god, like, but they use this technique. If that's like a point of, this designer is sensational because look at the techniques. Because you have a whole atelier to your disposal. You know what I mean? Anything with Daniel Arsham's name is tax beyond comprehension. So yeah, they had this Stussy collab, which was cool. It did really well. But it's just another one of those examples where I didn't feel like I was getting the true signatures of Kim Jones himself. And I think for me, when I really started to warm into Kim Jones was the fall winter 2020 collection. I loved that collection. But let's look at spring summer 2020 first, because that was, I think, the Daniel Arsham collection. That was a big one. I remember they did in Selfridges around that time when that collection dropped. They did an installation in Selfridges in London, where they had like all these degrading cars and stuff. That was really cool. The marketing for those shows was really, really good. That I must say. Did you find out he played it too safe? Maybe earlier on. I don't think later on he did though. I guess you can say he played it a bit safe earlier on, but I also think we have to commend Kim Jones because, like I said, looking back at some of these collections, because I haven't actually looked back at these collections for a while, they sold. They really sold. Like I'm looking on a runway and I'm like, people wore this. I saw people wearing this a lot. And that rarely happens for a lot of brands. That's probably why he was able to make Dior so much money, especially in the first few years he was there. Have the Daniel Arsham installation. I remember around the time that this happened, I think that thing in the middle was like some sand material and they had to like do rehearsals because it's actually very difficult for the models to walk in that. That was interesting to learn about around the time when the show happened. Jeez, I'm old. Are the models gonna come out? Are we gonna see like okay, there we go. Things models have to do, eh? But this was kind of like when we talk about the Kim Jones Dior tailoring, this is the shape. This is the silhouette that he was going for majority of the time. Spring 2022, 2024, some of my favorite, but streets know the terror that pre-fall 2019 was. Uh, I remember the pre-fall 2019 collection because that was when. Do you know what's funny? Do you know what's interesting about the pre-fall 2019 collection for Dior? Wasn't that around the time that Misbehave was really big? Like Misbehave had a buzz. So you know that mesh top that Misbehave used to make? I feel like Dior made basically the higher end hype beast version of the Misbehave tight top. So all the people that had more money and was like, "Oh, you guys are wearing that Misbehave stuff. I'm wearing the Dior." That was what they would buy. For people that don't know, let me show you guys a picture just so you guys can have a reference, right? So this is the Dior pre-fall 2019 collection. So this is the piece we're talking about. This piece here was on all the street style pages. Like so many people had that. And it reminded me of the, let me see if I can find it. Misbehave. What is it like? Mesh top? Or what was it really called? It's not really a mesh top. It was more like a, yeah, this thing here. Misbehave used to make stuff like this. And it almost felt like Dior was making their version of like this. But people used to wear the long sleeve version. I'm trying to see which one, if I can find the long sleeve version. That is what people like, stuff like this. Everyone used to wear this in like streetwear at the time. And once again, because Kim Jones truly understands streetwear and he's tapped into that, I can imagine like he would have seen that and been like, let's make our version of that. But yeah, it made for some insane street style pictures around the time. Micah said, I have things to say. Hey, Micah, hop in then. Do you want me to send you a link? I'll put a link in the chat and you can share what you have to say. But that was a time that I do miss the fit pick era. I'm not going to lie, I do miss that. I do miss that. Now everything is about reels. Everything has to be in video form. Those were the trunks. I remember that was when Dior was, had those really expensive Rimowa collabs that everyone went crazy for. You can still see the roller coaster buckles. Matthew Williams was still working with Dior. He wasn't at Givenchy quite yet. It's so interesting looking back at this stuff. It genuinely feels like all this stuff happened yesterday. And the boots too, the translucent boots, that sold really well. Obviously, that print piece is obviously a Galliano callback. Those are Galliano references, Galliano Dior references. Yeah, this was the precursor to the bike it era. This was more so like Tron future stuff, facts. That's very, very true. Hello, hello, Micah. How are you?
Yeah, I'm in bed, so it's a no camera thing.
No worries, no worries. You said you have a lot to say. Say
Um,
your say
no,
your
it
opinions.
was just when I literally just, because I just was watching Severance in it, just finished it, booted up YouTube, saw you were live, even though you were live like 5 hours ago, but okay. Um, and then you were like, oh yeah, Kim Jones has like put his twist on different pieces that were popping at the time. And I don't know if you already touched on it, but the first thing that popped into my head as well, I think from the same collection, is do you remember that mesh, like see-through kind of mesh with the Dior logo all over, short
Oh
sleeve
yeah.
thing?
So I talked about that. That was in his debut collection. So I
Or is
can
this the collection right after?
No, no, no. This is a few collections after. This Daniel Asham collection was a few collections after.
Well, and it's the Daniel Arsham collection that had the misbehave top. I thought
No,
the
no,
mesh
no.
thing and the misbehave thing was in the same collection.
The Misbehave top was the collection after Kim Jones's debut.
Okay,
Yeah,
word.
so that was pre-fall 2019. His debut was spring summer 2019.
Bro, at the
Um,
time. at the
But I'll
time.
show you. But I was saying earlier because I did
Yeah,
walk
that
through this
top right there,
collection
look
quickly.
7.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was saying that all this stuff sold.
Babs.
Like everything sold. The belt sold. The top sold. Remember these oblique
Bro,
sneakers or whatever?
bro, these went triple platinum, bro.
Yeah, those sold.
People,
Like everything
bro, I'll tell
sold.
you the tier list. I'll tell you the tier list. So if you were a pauper, if you're an absolute pauper like Ayo and I, you'd have, your Nike Converses, your standard things, your Nike Cons. Then if you are a level above that, you have the off-white things, you'd have the off-white Blazers. You get me? Then when you are a real money man, when money was no problem, that's when you get the Dior obliques. When you're a real spender, triple D's on your feet.
Relative to everything else at the time, I remember those Dior obliques being so expensive, bro.
Bro, because they
Like
were a rack. And back then shoes
they
were like
were
150,
£1,000 when like luxury fashion wasn't bugging back then. So
No,
shoes
if
weren't
anyone had
supposed
them,
to.
they were a baller. The 10 weren't even going for as much as a rack back then. Not
Yeah,
just
they
yet,
weren't.
anyway.
They weren't. They eventually did, of course, but they weren't. So yeah, these are Mike. I'll just show you some of the collections just to remind you, just to like run you through quickly. So this is his
Debut.
debut, Spring Summer 19. Pre-4s like had
Okay,
the more
word.
futuristic vibe. The fall 2019 was when they were on that escalator that was moving, remember?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Then Spring Summer 20 was like the Daniel Arsham
Oh,
stuff.
yeah, that's a good collection too.
Resort 20 was some more collabs. Same as Spring Summer 21. I think he collabed with the Ghanaian artist. Pre-Fall 2020 was Stussy collab.
Yeah, yeah,
Fall
yeah.
2020 is actually one of my favorite collections. That was like more like opera inspired, like where they had the gloves and the coats and like
Mm.
the blazers, and I like the textures that they were using. Like this sort of stuff. I really
Yeah,
liked it.
I
This was when I was
remember.
like, oh, Kim Jones is crazy. He's going crazy. This is when I really started to love what he was doing, to be fair.
Mm.
Like this sort of stuff.
Yeah, I remember this, man. I
Yeah,
remember
this
this.
stuff was. I loved this stuff.
In fact, I was in Paris when this collection was shown. Yeah, I was in Paris when this collection was shown.
But that's what I'm saying. I feel like old because I was reading the statement, and Kim Jones was at Dior for 7 years, and I'm like, did 7 years go by that quickly?
Yeah,
I
jarring, to be
literally
fair.
remember his debut collection like it was yesterday.
Jarring, to be fair. Because his debut collection was when everyone was debuting.
Yeah,
Like,
and
yeah,
it was so anticipated. Like it was so anticipated. Like I remember me and a bunch of friends, we sat down and watched the show. Like we were like looking forward to it. Especially because think about it, and this is something I mentioned earlier. I don't know when you hopped in, Micah. You need to remember contextually, Kim Jones when he joined Dior was just coming off the Supreme LV collab.
yeah, bro. As in, like, he was scorching hot.
He broke the internet with
And
that
then, no,
collaboration.
not only that, man hopped into Dior and said, "Nah, I'm keeping this collaborative thing. Let's get Yunnan to do all of our jewelry.
Stephen
Let's get
Jones with the
let's get
hats.
Stephen Jones to do all of our millinery. Let's get Matthew Williams to do all of our hardware, which obviously went triple platinum with the belts, the buckle on the bags.
And he
Like,
had them for like a good at least 6 seasons.
like, bro, as in, not like he was scorching hot with that debut. And he, one of the things I remember the most is Heady One was there.
Oh yeah. I forgot about that because that was actually probably one of the first runway shows he ever went to because
Yeah, I think it was, and he was
I
bugging in
remember people
Paris, right?
talking about it. Yeah, I remember people talking about that. I do actually remember that. But yeah, from there, I that's when I warmed into his Dior. I do remember something that I was like, oh yeah, that happened. Do you remember this? Let me see if you remember this collection. Do you remember this one?
Boot up a couple
Spring
more.
23. Let me boot up
123.
the runway
I don't
video.
think I remember it.
Bro, this is the collaboration they did with ERL.
I have no memory of this.
You don't remember
I
the
have no,
ERL show?
I have no memory of this. What the hell?
What?
No, but there was a point where I was gonna go on to say that. There was a point where I mentally tapped out of Kim Jones Dior specifically. Because there was a point where I realized it's really not for me. But
Right.
men seem to love it because it was very successful. And I was like, that's how I know he's a good designer, because it's really not resonating with me. But there's like people who are literally like
Yeah.
fully immersed in the Kim Jones Dior world.
Yeah, he
Man was, you know what?
attracted like
Man
a
was collabing
whole.
left, right, and center because he had that Travis Scott collab, he had a Denim Tears
Yeah.
collab. Like, yeah, man was collabing left, right, and center. What
But
the
yeah,
hell?
I almost forgot about this ERL thing because it was like I think it was in LA. I think it was even in like Venice Beach or something like that. Let
Was it
me
a pre-fall thing or a?
let me. It was like a resort collection,
Yeah, that
2023.
probably is why I missed it as well, mate.
Yeah,
You
it
know,
was in
yeah,
Venice Beach. I just checked. It was in Venice Beach. It was really random, and like this is when ERL was buzzing because remember like ASAP Rocky wore ERL to the Met
yeah,
Gala and
yeah.
stuff. So ERL was just bugging, and then because he was tapped, people were saying that he was gonna like start designing Dior collections, and it never happened. It was just a one
Mm,
collection. But this is interesting. To be fair, there were some interesting techniques used here, like how they made the sneakers and some of the other pieces. There was a really good video. I think it was Loic Prigent that posted where they talked about the whole process. It was actually really interesting. But the clothes definitely weren't for me though.
yeah, bro. Look,
They
after
definitely weren't for
I
me.
think like full 22, I want to say, I was like, okay, I'm cool off Dior. I'm glad people like it. It's not for me. And then I didn't tap back in properly until what was it the 50th anniversary? What was that fat collection he did a couple years ago that went crazy?
I'm
The
trying to
one
think which one
where
because
all
all
the
of them are a
men
bit big.
people came up in like I don't want to call them elevators, but like people got lifted through the floor.
Oh, okay. I know. I know what one you're talking about. I know which one you're talking about.
And I was like, okay, first man still doing this thing.
No, I think he had bangers. There was the collection that was in that like garden. That's also something because I always think of like different products that really stood out with
Mm.
each season. I remember that collection that he did in the garden, the footwear was crazy because I think he made like the Birkenstocks, the like Dior version of Birkenstocks, or I don't even know, was it a collab? But those shoes went crazy.
Yeah, I remember them. I
And
remember
this
them.
is
They're
what I
actually
mean
hard.
about
They're hard.
he
They're
taps
hard.
into whatever's trending at the time, he capitalizes on it. And it's why
But
Dior made so
I
much
think that's
money.
why everyone did their own Birkenstocks then as well, though, because you remember the Balenciaga ones.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I remember, yeah, when he had those Birkenstocks, like people were going crazy for those. But yeah, this ERL show, I was like, damn, this really happened. Um, completely forgot. Oh yeah, the Egypt collection. This is what I mean. Like that. So he did so many collections when you think about it, and time just like flew.
Nah, Max, it's not copying because I'd say it's not copying
Yeah,
because
because he
man
tapped
literally
the
got the
designer
designer
to
in.
yeah,
Matthew Williams came and did it himself.
yeah. It's
Uh,
different tapping the designer to do what they already do. That's definitely not copying. If anything, that's exactly what every brand should do. Instead of taking someone's idea, that's what we critique brands of doing all the time, where they steal designers' work and make millions off it, but instead you're gonna bring on the designer to do it
and
for the
actually, to be honest,
brand.
I feel like the way they translated it to Dior was pretty tasteful, in my opinion.
Yeah, like with the buckles on the saddles, and people bought those saddlebags. Like people really bought those saddlebags.
Damn, bro.
With the elevator ones when I started to get Kim Jones's design. Bro, I even that Egypt collection. I remember the craze about that. You saw influencers going to Africa for the first time.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was crazy. That was crazy. People are talking crazy online on Twitter, bro.
Oh my word! But what I know you said obviously that Dior necessarily didn't speak to you for most of it, but Were there any collections that stood out to you during his tenure? Were there any
Yeah, let me
specific
pull up Vogue
products?
Runway. Let me pull up Vogue Runway real quick.
Let me.
I'll list them off. Obviously, debut, the debut and the four collections after that, including
Yeah.
the resorts and the pre-springs, I was feeling. Then let me quickly get Vogue Runway up and I'll take a look. Damn, it's been a minute since I've even overviewed this guy's.
But look at how many collections he did.
Oh, he's done
Loads.
bears. Oh, he's done bears. Um,
Loads.
yeah, so I liked for me, spring 2019, I was feeling that. Pre-fall 2019, spring 2020, resorts 2021, spring 2022, and then I think that's the last one I was like, the spring 22 was the last one I cared about for a
Yeah.
while. And then maybe the last 3, 4 collections, I'm like, oh, okay, cool, he's cooking.
I do think though that because there's many reasons why luxury brand sales would slow down, but you can clearly see that earlier on in Kim Jones's tenure, everyone was wearing his clothes, and more recently, less and less people are like wearing his stuff. He hasn't really been able to capture the zeitgeist the way that he captured the zeitgeist that the start, like the first couple of years. Everyone like it was just straight from Runaway to NCL Gallery.
Mm,
Like directly, just straight from the runway to fit people's Fitbit. I'm like, how do you even get it? It's barely been out.
right. And even like the type of um, celebrities that really resonated with Dior were the type of celebrities that people are quite aspirational towards. So, like your Travis Scotts, like your Kardashians.
You had
Um,
Pop Smoke that had a hit song, and that was like
yeah,
Kim Jones era.
yeah.
So that's what I mean. Like the zeitgeist, there was a point in time he just really had the zeitgeist, and then after a while, it just kind of went a bit silent. But what I can always give him credit for is he makes desirable products for sure.
Yeah, no, he understands the consumer really, really
He
well.
really does. Dammy says, "What's good, Dammy? If you're free, hop into the live, because I know Dammy likes Kim
Gucci,
Jones. I want to know what he has to say.
Gucci.
I want to know what Dammy has to say. I'm very curious. I think there's somewhat of an upper ceiling to what he did at Dior. He carved a segment in what was becoming a saturated market for menswear, and then eventually those customers were satisfied. Yeah, I guess that's kind of true. Yeah. But I wonder what he's going to do moving forward. I mean, he left Fendi, left Dior. He still seems like he has a lot. I mean, that last collection for Dior was really good. So he still has some stuff in the
Yeah, no,
locker.
that's what I was saying. These last like 3 or 4 he's been doing have been a lot
I'd
stronger
like to
than
see
the
him go
middle
somewhere
section.
because he's still got some really good ideas in the locker. But it's just a question of where. Like, where would Kim's aesthetic go to? Like, LV and Dior makes sense because they're like the mainstream brands. The menswear is not too historic, so you could kind of be more experimental with it. It was that way at LV. It's that way at Dior. It's not 5 a.m.
Oh, for you US fellas, it is, I guess.
Isn't Boaz in the UK though?
Bro, oh, that's a good question. No, but you did stream at 5 a.m.
I did, but obviously I
So
thought he was
maybe my man
referring to
watched
now.
it. Maybe my
Oh,
man
okay,
watched it,
okay,
and then he's
okay.
tapped back in at 12.
Okay, the earlier stream. All right. I just have a messed up sleeping pattern, that's all. Let's see. Eric said, I love his men's spring summer 24 and fall winter 24 for Dior men's, and his spring summer 24 and fall winter 24 for Fendi women's, then hated his farewell collections for both. Really? I liked his Dior farewell collection. Let me put that on the screen. I did like that. I enjoyed that, to be honest. Because he was really referencing a lot of couture techniques from obviously the House of Dior, from Monsieur Dior, and also it was kind of menswear couture in a way, using like the H line silhouette, applying that to tailoring, applying that to blazers, applying that to overcoats. That was really cool. Adding like a feminine touch to things that are held historically as a menswear staple. So he would take like very classic menswear shoes and tie a silk ribbon on the front of it, stuff like that. Like
Mm.
I thought that was I really enjoyed it how he was playing with the techniques. To be honest, I really liked his farewell collection. Hate it or love it, but I love to see him with Beluti. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He could work at Beluti for sure. I mean, Beluti needs a buzz. It hasn't really. I don't know what it is about Beluti. It doesn't seem like anyone has really been able to really give the brand a push. I mean, Hyder Ackerman was there, Chris Van Ash was there. I don't think any of them were able to, and these are really, really good designers and well-known designers. I don't think any of them were able to make a product at Beluti that really, even though their collections were really nice, I don't think there was a product that I think about in any of their times at Beluti. So I just don't know. Is Beluti one of those brands where that's even possible? Right, he got to do what Raf did and find a house that he can share the workload with someone. Where I don't know though. Where would that even work? I need to think about that for a second. Who could he share stuff with? I would say Maria Gacciaturi because she's done that before at Valentina, but he's just left Dior. That's not gonna happen. Max says he will likely stay within the LVMH ecosystem, maybe a Celine to cement the brand's appeal for streetwear while keeping a delicate side. What delicate? You mean delicate side? Straight swap to Loewe, unlikely in my opinion. Yeah, I don't think he's going to Loewe. No. No, actually he's not going to Loewe. Um, someone saying Maria should go to Fendi. Mm, mm, I don't know. I mean, Kim Jones at Celine, based on we're coming off an Eddie Simon and a Phoebe Philo era. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Hermes wants to do haute couture, and Kim Jones has one of the best portfolios out there. Out of all the designs available, his designs seem to fit their design codes the most. Do they? I feel like Hermes is very like when I think of designers that design at Hermes, like Christophe Lemaire, it's very clean cut luxe. I don't know if Kim Jones necessarily does clean cut luxe all the way. He's shown that he's capable of doing it for
He likes
sure.
adding a bit of flair. He likes adding
Yeah,
that
but
bit.
he's more like of a flair player. He doesn't do the Lemaire thing, I don't think. Hi Dami, how you doing?
Itchy.
Morning, everyone. Or afternoon, actually. Now is I'm
Yeah,
chilling.
just past 12.
How's everybody?
We're doing good.
Right, yeah, yeah.
What's
No,
your thoughts on the Kim Jones news? I know you very much enjoy Kim Jones's work.
yeah.
Um, so what are your general thoughts? What are your favorite collections from him during his time
Um,
at Dior?
in my opinion, Kim Jones had like a generational run
He
at
definitely
Dior.
did.
So like I would actually have to pull because I could literally start naming from 2020. Or no, I mean like pre for 2020, like when
Right.
he started. So, but yeah, like I had some very like I loved like the Toriyama collections. I liked when it was Alix, or should I say Matthew Williams and Yoon Ahn working at Dior. I think Yoon
How
Ahn
long
still
was
does
that actually for?
accessories.
How long was that actually for?
I
Do you
can
know?
actually
Matthew
track it because once the
Matthew
buckles
Williams
stop,
stopped.
you you
Yeah,
can you
Matthew,
can
But don't they
literally
still?
see.
Do they not
but
still sell the
Yoon
buckle? Am I
Ahn
bugging?
still does. I think
Once
she's
Matthew
still
Williams
part
went
of
to
the
Givenchy, the whole thing
accessories.
just that was it.
Yeah,
Didn't he
that
go to
was.
Givenchy like 2 years later though? It wasn't long after.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
wasn't long after, which is why it didn't last that long.
Oh, okay. But they were still selling the buckle because it's like a staple of their
Mm-hmm.
hardware.
Yeah, I think on the runway, it might have been like the Daniel Larson show might have been the last one, to be honest.
It
Because
was
after it
still on
was
the
the
runway.
resort collection, then it was the Stussy collection, then it was like the opera collection, which didn't have any of that. So I think the Daniel Larson thing was the last one, and then he went to Givenchy shortly after.
Mm.
Someone is saying that. Let me see what Burrs is saying about Hermes. Um, Kim Jones can do Hermes menswear. It's so unbearably boring, anyways. I mean, you have a point there. You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Kim Jones, I don't see Kim Jones going to Hermes at all, to be honest with you. I
Yeah.
don't think he's going to any, like Dior is literally the premier brand for LVMH. Like he's not gonna get paid parity for doing a smaller job at LVMH. But at the same time, it's like Hermes is in quotes a family business,
Mm.
so it's a little bit different to go to there and command certain
I mean,
things.
it's a family business, but it's a multi-billion family
Oh,
business.
no, for sure. But I guess the main thing I'm saying is like you're still going into the family business. You know what I'm saying? You're not actually like they might think of LVMH or something little that he did at Dior. I don't know whether he's just walking in and commanding anyone any salary
Yeah.
just at any other place outside of let's say Corinne or OTB. But then like why would he go to them places when LVMH is the biggest and the best?
But I
Fine.
mean, because he's been at LVMH for so long, like Louis
Yes.
Vuitton,
That's what I'm saying.
Fendi,
It's
Dior. I just don't think he. I
That's
don't
over a
see
decade.
him. Yeah, I don't see him doing anything with any LVMH. But I don't know. I just would think he
yeah,
would be tired. He just wants something different, like a
that's
change of scenery.
That's what I would think as well. Honestly, I genuinely think that. I think that, or like, I think the most likely thing in my brain, like, is he takes a break and then he gets an eponymous label. Like that's
I
Hasn't
mean,
he
he
had
did
one
have an
before?
eponymous label
He's had
before.
yeah,
one.
Yeah, he had
but
his
like
label
under
before.
LVMH, like Phoebe Philo does, but better.
Right. So bring it back.
Yeah, with a LVMH minority stake.
I don't know if it would bang though the same way. I don't think his name commands such a cultish audience the same way Phoebe Philo's did.
Phoebe Philo's does not have a cult audience. I don't know what. Like, we need to stop this charade. But I don't
I
want
think
to.
that
I
the
don't want to do
people
this early
the
in the morning.
people who buy from Phoebe Philo continue to buy from
What?
Phoebe
Which
Philo.
buyers?
Not really.
Buyers.
Okay, Mike, I don't agree with that, to be
Yeah.
fair.
So what
This
you
is why
think
I said I don't want to
do
start
you feel
this.
like she's expanding audiences?
I
Hmm?
think that Phoebe Philo's audience is segmented across the industry. So I think that when she was at Celine, yes. But since then, so many people have become customers of so many different brands, whether that's Peter Doe or La Mer or Rock or Bottega Veneta or, The Row. And it's almost like now she's back, people are like, yeah.
Okay, let me
You know what I
rephrase it.
mean?
Do you think Phoebe Philo is capturing new audiences? I don't think she is.
No, I don't think she is. No.
I don't think. I think that the people who are buying Phoebe Philo right now were the same people who were investing in Phoebe Philo's work 10 years ago.
Yes, but it's even less.
Yes.
Okay, but my point is that I don't think there's an audience of people who are actively looking for Kim Jones's work specifically for Kim Jones.
You think?
I don't think that
I
is.
think why people love Kim Jones. Obviously, Kim Jones makes really good products, but I think it's to do with Kim Jones and a mixture of the brands that he designs. Obviously,
Exactly.
Dior is like a big
So
brand.
I'm saying if he had an eponymous label, I don't think there's people who are like, oh, I need Kim Jones's eponymous label because it's just Kim Jones. I think those people are more interested in, oh, Kim Jones is doing this Dior thing and I like Dior, so I'm gonna tap into Dior.
Yeah, I
Or
mean,
Kim Jones is doing this LV thing, so and I like LV, so I'm tapping it.
it's very few people that don't have an eponymous label open now. That if they did, they have a cult audience. Maybe like Eddie Slimane. I'm trying to think of who else would.
Demna could probably pull it off.
Oh yeah, Demna could. Demna has a cult ass
Let's just
following.
think about this idea, for instance. It's like, because I was just kind of like thrown off the top of my head.
Also, about her collection selling out, they don't produce in big quantities, by the way. So it's not like she's selling, she's shifting hundreds of garments or whatever.
Yes, yeah. She doesn't move major units. That never. You know what? I'm not even gonna say anything about Phoebe. Let's wait. I can't wait to the next drop. Anyways, I'm like heavily focused on Phoebe Phalo's career currently. Or
Yeah,
her.
same.
Um,
I think what she does is interesting. Like I'm interested in everything that Phoebe Phalo does. But if we're talking pragmatically, we're just having a
yes,
pragmatic conversation. She doesn't have the audience. Like she just doesn't.
she does. Yeah, and she built an audience for the style that she has, and then it just segmented. It's not her own fault either. But yeah, back to the Kim Jones thing. What's to say someone needs to start generally with a cultish audience? Like how
Oh no,
start?
I'm not saying that. I was just highlighting that I don't think he has one. So, and I feel
Um,
like LVMH don't like risk taking these days.
hmm? I don't know about all of that. I don't know about.
I don't think they like risk taking these days compared to how they used to.
They're literally in the business of risk. Wait, oh man,
In what way?
Phoebe Phalo. Phoebe Phalo's a risk.
Oh, but that's a tiny risk in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, because it's a minority stake,
that's a
isn't it?
tiny
So yeah,
risk.
it's not much
Yeah,
of a risk.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
Okay,
they would have a minority stake in an eponymous label, but at the same time, who did they just buy or acquire? Was it
They acquire a lot of people to be
no? But they
Capital.
recently,
What capital?
yeah, no, but that was
Via El Catterton, but yeah, still.
yeah. But I guess what the point that I'm kind of trying to get to is in Kim Jones starting his own thing, there's different things that like whirl around it. So he's looking for value within himself, and then value within his audience, and then his pull within culture.
Mm-hmm.
So his pull within culture is a lot bigger than
Most
people are generally want to give it credit for.
No, it's
True.
big. It's
Like, and I think you guys were talking about Pop Smoke. I was just doing my morning routine, so I couldn't really get it airing. But you were talking about just the generational run that he's had at Dior.
Mm-hmm.
But this generational run even started prior to Dior. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mentioned earlier that when he joined Dior, he was literally coming off the Supreme LV collab.
Exactly.
And he made those boots that let me pull this up because I actually need to show people on the screen.
But yeah, I agree his name isn't as massive, but like in the way that someone could story tell for what Kim Jones has done over the past 10 years. Because literally he's run menswear for the past 10 years to me. And I think like he has a strong case for that. So the way that someone can story tell to start his own eponymous label, that's if he wants it, right, is majorly valuable because he is massively valuable to the menswear community. Some people just don't know it yet. And I think that's the same thing there and abouts with Phoebe Phalo.
Right.
Because the only difference is that Phoebe Phalo is like majorly valuable to a segment of women's wear. I genuinely believe Kim Jones changed menswear.
I don't think
You know what the difference is?
single-handedly.
You know what the difference is, though?
I wouldn't give it to him single-handedly.
If
I
even
wouldn't
if
say.
no, even if it were him single-handedly, audiences need to identify that.
Of
Oh,
course.
we feel like this person
Of
single-handedly did
course.
that, and I think that's what's missing from Kim Jones. That like even if
Mainstream.
he did,
Oh, sorry.
I don't think men walk around feeling like that. Whereas there's a bunch of women who walk around feeling like, yo, Phoebe Fowler really changed my thing. Like,
No, for sure. But yeah, like mainstream menswear.
you know what? I can agree to an extent.
Kim Jones. Yeah, no, it's to an extent.
I
I'm
think
not
he
saying
played a
single.
very strong part because
Yeah.
I think Virgil Abloh always has to be there if we're talking about how menswear changed. So that's why like you can't really give
They're
it to
kind of
him.
at the same time. That's why it's
Yeah.
like hand in
Yeah,
hand.
that off-white, that early off-white with the, you know,
No, but I'm
his
even thinking like
LV.
the Dior, that like the way them first few Kim Jones
That
Dior collections look. To be
golly.
fair, a lot of men were like, because I feel like that kind of stuff is why we have like Mono Devoir and brands like that. That's why brands like that can even exist in the form that they're in now, because of Kim Jones's Dior.
Yeah, fam. Like I
Like
don't
I
think
think
we get
even
Amélie on door without Kim Jones literally
like, I think he
bursting
made
through.
that style so aspirational to men who previously weren't interested in dressing like that.
All right.
Bro, there's a whole generation of men that think they can create luxury out of thin air right now by making a sweat of it. I don't know where everyone has come from. Like, but yeah, fam.
Oh my gosh, you actually killed me. I just wanted to show quickly. This is from
This is
his
spring
last
24, right?
collection. No, yeah, on the screen. But this is from his last collection, at LV, and these boots that you can see like
Bro.
them wearing sold like crazy.
What are these called? What are these called?
I forgot them, but they had like the gold tips and the eyelets, and these went insane. So even when he
This is
left
before my
LV,
time, fam.
he left LV. He said it was before his time. He left LV with a banger that commercially at least. Like he left LV with a collection that I saw a lot of people buying, even when he wasn't there. So that's what I mean. When he went to Dior, he went to Dior with a bang. Like he came off a really big moment.
Yeah, I remember. I really remember this vividly. It's actually crazy. It's crazy. But yeah, like I think there's the shape of menswear evolved with Kim Jong. Obviously, with like that core unit, we all know
That's
the
what I was gonna
names.
say. Because if you just say Kim Jones, I'm like, bro, let's not
No,
rewrite
bro, I'm not.
history.
No, I'd never do that. You know, I'd never do that. But yeah, like the problem is that Kim Jones also is like the designer's designer of the group, as
Okay,
in
that's
like
true. I can agree with you there.
Yeah,
he started
100.
as
I'm
the
on board with that.
designer.
100%.
He taught them how to design, like, you know, that type of stuff. And then like their ideas obviously proliferated. But my thing is that I think there's a major value there. And to go off the eponymous label point, it's like there's a story to be told. If he wanted that, there could be an option, who knows? But I think that yeah, he can take a break and know that his legacy is cemented for sure.
Yeah, yeah, for
Do you
sure. But
wait?
his run was actually scary when I think about how like many products hit, especially in the first like few years.
Bro, my
Mm.
guy had men wearing those. Do you remember that choker he did as well? The like,
Yeah,
Bro, this is what I'm saying, fam.
Like,
I
shout out
actually
Yunnan,
forgot
bro.
about that.
Shout out Yunnan.
Bro,
Shout out to Yoon On for real. He did have men wearing chokers.
I can't lie. Though that first couple of years of him at the, because remember he was doing a pre-fall for
Yeah, right from the
resort.
off the bat.
He was doing 8 collections a year
The
off
cheeky
the
8
runway.
collections.
And I think like what's it, 6 or 7 out of 8, or well actually 6 out of 8. Let me be nice. 6 out of 8 of those collections for 2 years hit straight. So like 12 collections were just bangers to me, and
Yeah.
that was wild. Like obviously he was never gonna be able to keep up that like insane clip of just like
Yeah.
firing off ideas and everything like that. It was gonna end up feeling stale at a point, but like when he was doing it, it was looking mad. I can't lie.
No, culturally, it was extremely significant. Like, I always say that I didn't really like the first collections too much, personally, because I wouldn't wear it. Like, all the
That's so
prints.
interesting to me because those are like some of the two that are most etched in my brain.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
because culturally, they're very significant because everyone wore the pieces from those collections. But in terms of,
triple
like,
platinum.
bro, I'm not going to wear a translucent top with an all over Dior print. It's just not going to
No,
happen.
you know what as well? For in terms of London, if my memory serves well, that collection, his debut or like the era of his debut was kind of around when End Clothing opened for the first time in London.
In
So you
London,
could
yeah, I
you could
remember.
literally go to End Clothing and cop your Dior obliques. So all of
Yeah.
a sudden in Soho, I'm seeing people with these £1,000 sneakers on, like on a casual thing. They went triple platinum on Instagram, like a lot of there was a lot of media and kind of like content around the work he was putting out, which I guess helped amplify how big and larger than life a lot of it felt.
Hmm.
And in the space where Virgil Abloh's LV is sucking up all the vacuum, it's nuts that he could even have been so loud in that kind of space. Because think about how huge, just because of how controversial it was, Virgil's LV was huge at the time, as in
Yeah.
taking up all the airwaves where people were like, why the hell is this guy at LV? That. It should be Kim Jones, this, that.
Bro, it was nuts. Like, and not knowing that Kim Jones literally handed the keys to Virgil.
He did.
It's so like the storylines are so wild, and yeah, mad respect. There's so much to be said on just that little portion that you just said there, like the way that it just hit the streets, and it was, yeah, there was a landslide them times. And the Dior trainers, even now, I'm seeing people wearing fakes. People wearing
Oh no,
fakes.
but
When
you
did
see
B22
everything that
stop?
he made in those first like few years, everything was copied. Everything had fakes.
Bro,
Everything.
I went out last weekend to a bar. I saw people wearing Dior runners, like them Dior runners, fam.
Wait, I have to Google these. What are Dior runners, right? Am I
Oh, you
bugging?
don't know
What
Dior?
B? You mean B22s?
Yeah, those are the
Oh
Oh,
shoes
yeah,
in the
oh yeah.
bro,
B22s. That's
those
no,
went
no. I
triple
know them. I
platinum
know
in
them. I
the
know them.
hood
those
No,
are
no, no.
the
I just didn't know they
in
were
the
called.
in
They were called
Essex.
runners.
those are the
Yeah,
mandem.
bro.
Yeah,
B22s,
fam.
bro. Bro. Who was I listening to the other
With
day? I think it was
yo, the
Cinch.
man
Man was
them,
rapping about B22s. I said, bro.
the man them that wear the Celine logo tee with the
Yeah.
Balenciaga hat
Oh my gosh,
and the
that is
Dior
so
trainer,
true. The Celine logo tee with the Dior runners. That is
bro,
the fit.
bro. And if they want to get freaky with it, they'll get the Converse Dior ones, fam. The ones that are like low key see through. Oh, what a time to be alive, bro!
Oh my
DOB.
gosh.
What a time to be alive. Yo, Mandem United, no, RIP Virgil,
Nah, and
but
you know
yeah,
why? No, I just remembered as well why like it was it was like a who has the most money ladder. Because if you remember, the off-white cons were literally see-through as well. So it's like, oh yeah, you could have the off-white ones,
Mm,
or I could, pay extra £800 and I have the Dior obliques,
Mm,
like the.
yeah. No, it's crazy. It was there was pandemonium when the B22s dropped, fam. Pandemonium, fam. Yo, people were going in depth.
what I don't understand is like, I
It's not
always
even
think
that
to
nice a
myself,
sneaker.
how do people actually afford it? Like the amount of people that buy these shoes, I'm like, surely people aren't just this rich. Because I remember looking at the prices of these shoes, just thinking, what? That is just that is not affordable at all.
Bro.
And
I
then
don't
then it sells out. Like you walk into your local Harvey Nichols and they're like, oh, sorry, we sold out of the Dior's. And it's
That's
like,
wild.
how?
No, because you gotta think it's like, and it's because obviously it was Mandem United and Mandem FC, but then there was also because Dior's actual customers are rich people in it. It's like the clothes do sell, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so they're wearing it as well. So now everybody's looking at Mandem FC, and then there's a homogenization of menswear. But then because like Kim Jones's Dior is so like widespread throughout different tiers and different classes, it's like you can look different but all be wearing Dior. It was crazy, man. What a crazy time. But 100%, I don't care if you're living with your mum and you're making 2 to 3K per month. If you buy them Dior runners, you felt that. Like you
Wait,
felt
nah,
that.
bro. Wait, is this BB no money person joking?
Huh?
Are you
What?
looking at the comments? Is this a joke?
No.
No.
If you don't read the comments, then they technically don't exist on the stream, to be fair. So I don't know. What do you mean?
Wait.
Okay, I don't know about all of that.
Yeah, what the hell?
Yeah,
Anyway.
that's a bit crazy.
Wait.
Someone's
Um,
asking you, Dammy, what does Man MFC mean? They want the context.
what does
You're
man
you're using too much British lingo.
Oh, so, you know what? Yeah. Okay, I don't know what country Style Wars is from. But in the UK, let's just say it's like the uh it's like the proletariats. It's like,
Man's
He
using
hit him with
vocab, bro.
yeah,
Man's
he
using
did.
I don't.
vocab, bro.
Oh, you're in the US. Oh, calm. Okay, that's well easy. So just imagine the guys who,
The hoi polloi.
yeah, they make, let's just say regular income. They love watching football or basketball. Dammy Marks is man said he called me Dammy Marks. Yeah, so it's just like regular guys, but then like some of them are hood, some of them are like more trailer park, some of them can be like suburban, all of that. But it's like there's different leagues in Mandem FC in it. So there's the people that like are the street pharmacists, and then there's the people that are
Nah,
Street
bro. This is
pharmacist.
street fastest is crazy. Street fastest is
I'm trying to keep
crazy.
it PG for
You
the live.
have to be from London to that is hilarious.
And then there's the people that fight in like sports matches and drink beer at you know they drink beer
Yeah.
at pubs and like little bars and stuff like that. And then there's
Smash bottles over people's heads.
yeah. So like there's different segments to Mandem FC, just like there's different segments of the population.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Star Wars gets it now. Yeah. The way I wanted to explain it though, it would have looked mad on the stream. Oh wow, wait. And let me go on IG quickly. Sorry.
Yeah, I might have to go on Instagram because that's actually insane.
Bro, that's bonkers.
Before I say anything out loud.
Because I didn't want to like feed into any like
It's
rumors and
private.
stuff.
It's
Okay,
private.
so it's
Damn.
private. So
Hanan follows, so that's what I'm gonna do.
if that's true though, that's actually insane.
Bro, that's bonkers, bro.
Yeah. Hanan not posted nothing. For education. Why am I not following for education? That's kind of odd. Oops.
I just didn't even know they had an Instagram. To be
Yeah,
fair,
neither did I.
never was really like promoted or anything.
But yeah, not to halt the stream or hold it hostage, but yeah, like it even feels weird continuing on the stream, I can't lie. How developing your own style developed. People tell me I dress like Tyler the Creator.
Really?
Yeah, they do
I
now.
can kind of see where they're coming from. I can kind of see.
I've been dressing like this for years, so it's kind of a bit, you know what I'm saying?
I get it. It's like the preppy with an edge. Like I get it. I get where they're coming
Yeah,
from.
Rain said
but
caught
yeah,
both streams. Damn, that's insane work. Anyone who caught both of these streams, I don't even want to know what go on for your sleep cycle, for your sleep schedule. Because
yeah. You caught both streams. Okay,
yeah,
yeah,
bro,
no,
that's
cool. Yeah,
absurd.
Yeah,
bro.
crazy
Your
times.
sleep schedule must be
The first
cooked.
stream was at 5 a.m. So yeah, you guys are a
Fine.
bit
Cooked.
crazy.
Unless you're on the West Coast. Actually, even if you're on the West
Nah,
Coast,
bro, your sleep schedule's cooked. It doesn't matter
yeah,
where you
no,
are.
you're done. You're actually finished.
Yeah, culture was there actually. That's facts. Hey, don't shame my audience.
Bro, I'm not shaming. I'm just highlighting that
My audience is tapped
they
in.
might need to see a sleep therapist.
They
That's all
have
I'm
the
highlighting.
fashion roadman sleeping pattern.
Man said he's infecting his audience with his sleeping habits. That's insane work, bro.
That's wilding, bro. Wait, so any yo, the way that IO comes like breaking news alerts,
Bro,
like
literally.
I literally messaged him. I was like, so what time is the stream when the Glenn Martin's news dropped? I was like, because he's breaking news every single time, bro. Just
The
yeah,
reason, the reason why I actually like to do the live streams when news stories break is because I feel like when news breaks, most people that make a video about it are just gonna like do the
Oh
so
my
and so
god,
happened. What do
bro.
you think?
What do you guys think? Kim Jones
And
was
then that's
nice
going to
to
be it.
Dior. And
So
like he was cool there. So in the
yeah.
comments, tell me what you guys think. And yeah.
So I think it's actually fun to come here. Like, look at how we're talking about Kim Jones's era at Dior. We're having like a proper conversation about the clothes. Whereas most people that make a video, like when they'll be like, "Oh, Kim Jones has left Dior. Who do you think is gonna end up at Dior now? Is JW Anderson gonna end up there? What do you guys think?" And that'll be it. So I
Wait,
just,
why is that a narrative, by the way? Did I miss something? Why is JW Anderson at Dior a narrative?
it's always been announced it for a while. It's just the rumor that he's going to go to Dior.
mm,
I can't
yeah.
mentally I don't see it, but maybe I don't have the vision.
You don't see him at Dior.
No, I don't see it.
Apparently,
Honestly,
good sources have said that he was like they've just been pushing that. That's what they've been pushing, that he's going to Dior, and the Paranza designers are going to Loewe.
yeah. Okay, I didn't catch that stream. What was your thoughts on that?
But the Paranza designers going to Loewe.
Yeah.
Mm, I don't know if it's going to be a good fit because I don't see their clothing as playful. JW Anderson is like literally the king of playfulness in fashion right now. So I
Yeah.
just don't. How are you gonna go from like a designer that's ultra playful to designers that are more known for like a clean cut, nice
Subdued.
dresses,
Yeah.
subdued, minimal? I don't get it.
Yeah. That was kind of like my feelings and thoughts upon hearing that, to be fair. And plus JW Anderson had a generational run at Loewe.
Bro,
Like,
generational is an understatement. Understatement,
bro,
literally.
I'm even yeah, because I'm even being nice about it. Like, he absolutely, you know what? Let me not even go too far. But the one thing I did want to say about JW Anderson at Loewe
Right.
was I feel like this is LVMH's end game. Just this whole musical chairs thing that's happening. Because what are they actually gonna do with this next phase of LVMH? Can they really carry on this
No, they're
generational thing
cooked.
that's
I think they're
happening?
cooked.
Because it's improbable that they've been going this ham for 10 years.
I
Like
just
JW
don't.
Anderson,
Yeah.
10 years. Kim Jones has been at LVMH for 10 years. Like,
More than 10 years.
yeah, well, yeah, yeah, more than 10 years. But like, it's just great. Like, all of this is crazy. Menswear
So
and women's wear.
So the thing is,
Celine,
with this point, I
oh,
agree in terms of like, I think having new designers for these houses would be a great idea. But the problem is, the thing about fashion is designers build relationships with journalists over time. I mean, look at I feel like there's with every designer you can give them a journalist pairing. Like when I think of Demna, I think of Kathy Horan. When I think of Versace, I think of Tim Blanks. So as a designer, if you've been in the industry for long enough, you have that journalist that's going to fight for you and be behind your back and have your best interest and also make sure that they control the narrative around your brand. New designers, no one cares. That's why, see, when Sean McGear did that debut collection, like people just went ham because he doesn't have those relationships the same way. And if these companies want to make more money, low key, they kind of have to. They want to just keep growing, and don't want to go down in any way. I don't
Yeah.
see how they could have just a full set of new designers. I don't think it would work.
Mm.
And I think new designers are arrogant in a way, in the sense where they think they can just make a collection and go and just design and not have to say anything or speak to anyone and disappear and do the whole Playboy Carti thing and only drop when they feel like it. I don't want to do 8 collections a year or all of like it's kind of wild in
Well,
the idea of this is a $1 billion company. You
with that
think you can
mentality,
just
they'll be
act
out of a job in no time.
like you can't
No
just
joke.
act like you want in a $1 billion company, and the other side of it is that let's say the designer isn't like that. The idea of the pressure of a $1 billion company, if you're not being part of an organization and you understand how internal organizations work and how just the power structures work, then you're kind of in for a big like loggerhead, because it's not about being the creative director or designing things. It's about managing your relationships a lot of the time, especially at that higher of a level. And like,
Yeah.
and you still have to convey your ideas, right? And then there's the whole dog and pony show of talking to the stylists, or let's not even say you talk to stylists. Let's say you talk to the magazines. You have to talk to the editors. You have to talk to all of these people just to get your things looking proper.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard. It's a bit hard to say for a new designer to do that. Wait,
This is exactly what I agree with, by the way. The nature of a conglomerate like LVMH encourages safe bets to the point that they will inevitably become stale. I do agree with that because I think the problem with LVMH is that it becomes harder and harder to get to where you need to be. So designers like Marc Jacobs, they were at the start of the ready to wear. So they had all the freedom in the world. They barely made, like when I say they barely made money, obviously they made money, but compared to now, it wasn't that much. So things were trending upwards always. So it was happy days. Now, just to maintain like the 20 billion in revenue for LV year on year is like impossible. You have to like,
No, bro, I'm telling you, the game's cooked. The
you
game's
have to,
bro, the
it's
game started
so
being
much more
cooked when they
difficult.
put Pharrell at LVMH. I mean LV. I can't lie. That's when the beginning of the end came.
It's so difficult. Like, how do you top that? Like, when all these guys like Marc Jacobs, John Galliano, when they came in at these brands, there was so much scope to grow financially. Now, where these brands are now, it's just like you have to get a big designer just to maintain that. And the second you get a small designer, you're gonna lose your revenues are gonna be down by 5% each quarter.
okay. I'm gonna say something, and I'm only gonna say it once. I knew the game was finished when I saw these men say, "Yeah, in 5 days, Pharrell will be debuting a collaborative collection with Nigo at Louis Vuitton." I said, "Yeah, the game's cooked."
Why?
That's
Bro,
wild.
bro, this nigga
Explain.
is supposed to be working at Kenzo, bro. He has the whole collection to show at another LVMH house, and he has time to be dilly dallying around with.
And
Nah,
he showed his Kenzo collection a few days later
That's kind of wild. I didn't even deep it.
at the same Paris Fashion Week.
You're absolutely right. I just like, why didn't that clock to me? Because I saw the collab. I was
Do you
like,
know what was even more hilarious?
go.
The silhouettes in the Kenzo collection looked exactly like
oh, and to top it off, not
like
only
the
did these man
slits in
collaborate,
the
they said,
LV show.
let's make our collaboration. Let's make our collaboration self-referential. Let's just reference stuff we've already done before.
Yeah, that part was a bit, bro. I'm like, I understand why people slammed the collection.
No,
Honestly,
guys, the game's cooked. Like,
because that was wild.
genuinely, the game's cooked.
Like I've actually tried to defend Pharrell as best as I know how.
I don't think you need to
But
defend him. My verdict with Pharrell is that he makes good bags, but he has no design chops, and that's the end of it. That's just where it ends.
okay, when I say defend, I mean like give him like a fair shake instead of just like trying to like just lambast him like everybody else is. But with this particular collection, it's kind of just like all of the negative criticism is low key kind of deserved in my opinion,
Right.
because
As
like
far as his design acumen goes, yes.
like why, like it's just like even just concept wise, before I even got to the designs, I'm just like looking at the concepts. It's like, bro, you have opportunities to do the biggest things and then you do the most minuscule retrospective almost looking-ish thing. Like it's doing a retrospective on yourself. As what number collection is he on?
I don't even know at
Three,
this
Like
point.
it's
four?
like
No.
three, yeah.
If you add the pre-falls and
I
that, it's
Oh,
a
don't
bit
count
more
those,
than
though,
that.
do I?
oh, okay, but
Said
like
I don't count this.
to me that's a bit like, that's so egotistical. Like it's almost as if you just missed like a cultural cue there. How are you doing a retrospective in your second year, let's say, or your third? Let's call it his third year.
To be fair, it's not like it was a retrospective of his stuff at LV. It was a retrospective of his and Nigo's creative output
Yeah, but it
over the
can't be a
course of their
retrospective of
That's a
his
relationship.
stuff at LV
retrospective. I
because
don't
he's been
like.
at LV for a year. How?
Yeah,
Of course,
regardless of
like,
where the retrospective was birthed from, I
Yeah.
think in your third year, that's a bit.
and we're acting like the first collection wasn't self-referential as well. It was a retrospective of his whole career.
No,
Man
but
had
at
the
least,
Chanel
It
silhouettes.
wasn't as
Man had.
bad. The
What do
yeah,
you
first one
at
wasn't
mean?
as
least
What
bad.
do
you're
you
not like.
mean?
Have you
No, bro, boot
seen
up,
have you
bro, boot up that
seen
first
the
collection. No, bro, boot up
have
that
you
first
seen the
collection, bro.
Nigo collection, bro?
Bro, boot up
Yeah,
that first collection. It was just the whole thing was a self-reference.
bro. Wait. The because I understand what you're saying. However, that collection had different concepts, right?
I agree. I
And
think
it was presented
Okay, so you're saying the
like
Nigo one was too homogenous.
I
the
think
way
the Nigo one was way
you gotta
worse.
see it.
Like the
You gotta
Nigo
see it.
one was more just literally completely self-referential. I don't think the debut collection was that bad.
Yeah, the debut collection wasn't so on the nose, and like
I
even the
think
way
my
that
point
they
is
presented it,
whether it
like
was
there was a song and dance. Sorry, not to cut you off, but there was a song and dance about the first collection, whereas this, it's all like the way that even promoting it is like they're doing a retrospective.
but
Right.
what is regardless of whether one collection was executed better or worse. What do you mean within like I'm not including pre-fall? What do you mean within a 4 collection cycle? 2 of them have been self-referential.
That's so crazy when you put it like that.
50% of the collections. That's nuts.
Micah's not having it.
No,
He
I'm
is
just saying.
not
I'm
having
just
it.
saying it's a bit wild. Like the game's kind of cooked, and
And
not
to
only
be fair
you
to
couldn't even
Michael,
self-reference yourself, you had to go get your broski to help you with it. Like,
No, but to be fair, Micah, we've said from day one, we've been saying this from day one that Nico is ghost designing for Pharrell. We've been saying that from day one. So it was actually quite funny. It was almost quite hilarious when he was like, "Oh, I'm doing a collaborative collection with Nigo." Because in my mind, I was like, "That's kind of what you've been doing, no?"
no, it's actually a bit mad.
Especially because they're both designers at LVMH brands. I can imagine that Pharrell is always running stuff by Nigo. I wouldn't be surprised
No, I
if
knew it
that's
was
the
the
case.
case for time as well because early on, yeah, there'd be like bare videos of Pharrell at the atelier, and like Nigo and Pusha T would be at the back, and I'd be like, fine, Nigo and Pusha T, and I was like,
Mm.
fine, it's fine if Pusha T's there, man can make music in his own time, but Nigo, you have your own atelier you should be at like right now. But you're here hanging out, doing who
Nah.
knows what.
Okay,
Like,
I can give him the pass on that because bro, Virgil Abloh used to be out here DJing at festivals and like doing all
bro,
this
no, but
stuff. But
at
he's
least
still made amazing collections
no,
at
no,
LV
no,
though.
no. But the difference is. I'm just saying, it's not like Virgil was at Givenchy all the time, at the Givenchy atelier with Matthew Williams doing Like,
Right.
I'm just saying. And on top of that, everyone was constantly saying, oh, Virgil Abloh, yeah, all the design we do is on WhatsApp because he travels so much. He's mastered the art of. People are like, I never knew you could be so productive on WhatsApp. That's what people used to say about him. Like, I don't know. I think it's different.
Yeah,
And
but
every
I
Virgil
think he
collection
should be able
wasn't.
to hang out, bro. Michael wants him to have no social
Bro,
life.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's a bit suspect. I'm just saying it's a bit suspect.
And to be fair
Michael
to
just wants him
Micah,
to die in the studio.
to be fair to Micah, he is technically the LV customer, so
Like, I'm just saying it's a
he
bit
has a right
suspect.
on a low. But obviously, I wouldn't say that about Pharrell. I think that man can do whatever gets their creative juices flowing, fam. It's
Yeah,
hard
but
to find good people you
but that's
connect
no,
with.
whatever gets their creative juices flowing. But where are the creative juices?
Oh, bro, that's
Uh-oh.
so tense. That is actually
Uh-oh.
pain. That is pain.
Big pain. What?
Yo, I need to take a seat.
Bro, I'm just saying, and you know what? I think I'd be less critical if we hadn't seen someone with the exact same resources output much more interesting work, because there's only a handful of positions in the game where you actually have the resources that you do at a house like Louis Vuitton. And we literally saw
Yes.
someone with the same resources have intricate and intense conversations about blackness and what it means to be a designer and
No.
what is
Virgil
design and what
Abloh,
isn't.
if we're going to be frank, Virgil Abloh makes Pharrell Williams look like an amateur, like someone that is clueless.
So to
If you
go from that,
compare and contrast their
go
collections.
from that to someone that 50% of the collections they put out so far have been self-referential. It's not even reference to design, it's reference to like personal style at that. I'm just saying it's a bit odd. And no, I'm not even going as far as AZ is in the comments. I'm not saying I need to see. I don't even think Pharrell needs to be able to cut fabric or anything like that. I don't care about that kind of stuff. I just think it's a bit odd that like we're this late in the game now and you're still doing up. Let me reference my time in Japan 2006, and let me reference the Louis Vuitton Supreme collaboration that Kim Jones did that I wore. And let me come on, like.
Do you know what it is? Yeah, I think first of all, I think Pharrell has a very high taste level for starters. I think extremely high taste level, which is why people are saying he's a tastemaker. I definitely agree with that. I just think that Pharrell is creative, obviously, like he's one of the best producers of all time. But there's a different type of creativity to design clothing. It's not the same creativity that you use to produce music that you use to design clothes. And also your frame of reference. Like I can imagine, because Pharrell is so legendary in music, I do not want to know. Like if you have a conversation with Pharrell about music, he probably knows everything about everything when everything happened. He can tell you about music from crazy centuries. Like he can tell you about instruments. He can tell you about intricate things in music. Now, I don't think he has that level of knowledge in fashion, one. Two, he also doesn't have the creativity needed as a designer in fashion. So I think sometimes we see someone like Pharrell who dresses amazing, has a high taste level, one of the greatest producers of all time. I just think, well, he's creative in that, so he can be creative in everything, but that's not how fashion works. And it shows, because with his clothes, he genuinely does not have any ideas. Like, do you know how he goes, like, how he thinks is like, okay, I'm really inspired by Western fashion, so we're going to make this collection Western. Okay, I was really inspired by nautical inspiration, so everything in this collection is just going to be nautical. Like, there's no further depth into it. There's no details. There's no Easter eggs. There's nothing.
Yeah, it's oh man, the way that this is a frying, bro. Oh wow.
No, it's just been.
I didn't think.
And
I didn't think
guys,
you guys
let's
would
not
fry Pharrell
act like me
this.
of all people. Was I not the most optimistic one here out of the three of us?
It's actually, you what? To be fair, yeah.
Was I not? I'm just because I don't believe in frying someone off their first two collections because you need time to build. But when we're 4 main collections and 8 to 12 collections deep, if we include pre-fall and all that rubbish,
Yeah.
I just thought there would have been more well building by now. That's all.
You know
Or
what?
more. It doesn't even have to be a conversation that's deep, but just some kind of like clear, structured world.
I don't think
By the
for
way, Richie, I'm still doing the Dior review. Thank you so much for the super chat.
damn, wait, did he just say just woke up?
I think so, yeah.
So before you brush your teeth, you're watching Fashion Road, man. To be fair, that's the real roadman lifestyle. If you know, you know. If you know, you know. That's what a real roadman does.
Yeah, Micah, culture's comfy with the pet turtle.
No, but I say this every stream. I stand on the fact that to me, you could be an awful designer. It doesn't change the fact that if you put out some heat, it's heat. Like,
Yeah.
even if it's one piece in a 800 piece collection, I'll buy it if it's fire. Like, so just because I have like, you know, some speedies and some turtles and whatnot, man, I'm thinking, oh, it's sweet. No, I'll just call it how it is. Like, if there's been no well building, and I think it's odd that you're doing strange self-referential collaborations, I'll say it as it is. If next collection is sick, guys, trust me, I'll be the first on my YouTube channel talking about so in this collection Pharrell did X, Y, and Z and it's sick and da da da. But
Yeah,
until
but
that happens, like,
we're not in the business of just, you know, like hating for hating's sake, and that's never what we do. Like, that's why anytime I see something good that Pharrell does, I say, like, the bags.
exactly. Siobhan said
Um,
on cam styling. Exactly. You niggas know how it is. I'll be on cam styling when it's heat. But until then, it's quiet.
Ebony says Karl Lagerfeld's collections for Chanel in the 2010s were pretty on the nose as well. You can't compare Pharrell
2010. What decade
to,
of Karl Lagerfeld at
to
Chanel was
Karl
that?
Lagerfeld.
That was
Barely, but yeah, like barely a decade. But you can't compare Karl Lagerfeld.
no, that was
Karl
in his third
Lagerfeld built
decade.
his whole world and then got to a point where everything that he was designing sat perfectly in the world that he had already created. That's one. Two, Karl Lagerfeld is one of the most iconic design. Like, Karl Lagerfeld, like, basically revamped Chloe, basically twice. Like, did what he did at Fendi, did what he did at Chanel. Like,
Bro, the reason I like Fendi today
was
is because of
winning
Karl Lagerfeld.
was
That's-
winning design competitions when he was younger against like bona fide like close to couturiers. Like, let's not. I don't think they should ever be mentioned in the same conversation when it comes to fashion, to be fair.
I think just to say my actual Pharrell point, I think Pharrell could, or he does have a good lifestyle, and he could have a good point of view. However, because he's quite rudimentary in the design process, of like doing general referential things, it's quite hard to gather like where he's getting his real ideas from. So, for instance, right, the Western themes, even though there's blackness in it, at the same time, it's just so general that it's almost like a gentrified blackness, as opposed to when Virgil was doing it. There's actual sentiments. Like
Okay.
he picks sentiments out of what he's creating, and that's like my thing with Pharrell. It's like,
And there are layers to when he does it.
of course,
And I think, like, I've seen someone, Ebony, in the comments, like, it's not, you're looking at it at a very surface level approach to what we're saying. Any designer can do themes. Doing themes for your collections is not an issue at all. And none of us are saying that. But the difference is designers and collections that we enjoy and that we think are executed efficiently and effectively are, when they do those themes, they fit the theme within the world that they've already created at that house. So when Virgil is looking at like Afro-Westernism and Western themes, he's putting them in the world that he's already, this like playful, whimsical world that he's already built at LV, and continuing conversations he's already having, despite integrating a theme as well. Whereas the Pharrell ones come across as a lot more surface level. That like
This
it
is
is
the perfect
literally just a
example
theme.
of the Nigo collection where he was like, oh, he's referencing Japan, and then almost every look was pink to reference like cherry blossom. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
that's the problem with Pharrell, because if Virgil Abloh is like, okay, I'm gonna make a Japan themed collection, you know he's gonna do some. There are gonna be Easter eggs there. There'll be stuff you don't catch the first time. You have to read
bro.
the essay show notes. Remember those?
yeah.
Exactly.
The
No, and then
70-page
And
show notes
he will reference a book that only 17 people have.
have read that
And
was written by some obscure Japanese writer, but it's actually interesting and it makes sense in the context
yeah,
of the show.
exactly.
Like it's
Damn, he was
almost.
so good, bro. Oh my
It also doesn't take a lot of work when you like, for example, going back to the Nigo show, where it's like, okay, we're inspired by Japan, Sakura, everything's pink. There's just like how much research is going into that collection then? Zero.
and it's like if we want to, make the parallels to Karl Lagerfeld for whatever reason, even in these like Egyptian collections, beach collections, cruise ship collections, they still look like Chanel. Let's not play. Like he's already built the world. He's just adding more pieces to it. I can pull out any of those looks, even if you've never seen the collection before. You'll be able to tell me it's Chanel.
Bro,
Whereas
the only
I'm telling you
Chanel
now,
we
I can
know
whip
is
out
Karl
collection.
Lagerfeld. I don't think anyone should even like put Karl Lagerfeld in this conversation. I'll
Like
be
I don't
real.
know, no, but I'm just replying that comment in it
Yeah,
because
of
I'm trying to
course.
highlight like the why themes. We're not faulting Pharrell for doing themes. We're faulting Pharrell for doing themes not very effectively,
Yeah.
doing them at a surface level.
Yeah, so like, and that's just my thing with Ra. I feel like thinks sampling is referencing, and referencing is nothing like sampling in music. So
Yeah.
you have to actually have, let's not even call it academic, right? Because I don't want to be like highbrow about it, but you have to create the details of the references, and you have to have a discovery process that goes further than just, yo, this is the time period we're referencing. Because yeah, it's not like I can say, oh, I want to make a disco song, so I'm gonna do certain things with the production to make it sound like disco, or a house tune, or even like a grand tune and make it 140 BPM. That doesn't suddenly, make a good reference, you know what I'm saying? But in fashion, it's like you can't just say, oh, this is what we want to do, this is what we want to wear for my class. Because make no mistake, Pharrell is designing for his class. He's not designing for regular people. But at the same time, it's like your class deserves a better taste level than this, because currently the curation, let's if I'll admit that he doesn't design, and then we say the curation of what he's putting out, it doesn't look like there's a level of value there that people can ascertain just off face value.
Hmm.
What I will say is we're not doing the whole Pharrell isn't good at music thing. Like I'm sorry, anyone who's trying to say that, just remove yourself from the comments now. Like we're not. I'm not even entertaining that. I'm so sorry.
I don't even know what was said.
Someone was like, "Oh, potentially Pharrell was a hack in music as well, and maybe that's
Hmm?
how that
Okay,
far."
I'm
you
not
know
sure.
what?
I don't
That's,
know
Let's
about all
stop.
that.
Let's stop.
yeah, we're gonna draw the line there.
If I thought that, I would say that, but I definitely, certainly don't think that. So
No.
Pharrell is an icon in music.
Bro,
Like,
I don't even care.
Icon.
Like, yeah, we're not even.
it's not even just about production. Like, bro, Pharrell was basically teaching Justin Timberlake what inflections to use, basically teaching him his whole sound. Like, let's not do that.
Yeah, no, sorry. But yeah, like Pharrell just needs to revamp and actually dig deeper in his thought processes, because he does speak quite highbrow, especially in interviews, I can't lie. But what we see in the production of the actual collections doesn't give that. Yo, can we like for the Dior, yeah, I was literally about to ask you to
Yeah.
put this on. I was literally
I knew it was
gonna
coming.
ask you.
This is Sorayama, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
this collection changed everything.
Yeah, this is
I,
the collection that I said it was perfect in the zeitgeist because this was that
well,
collection where the misbehaved stuff was like really trending. And Dior, basically threw it by the wayside because the Dior version is just made a million times better. So people almost like this. I feel like that was when Misbehave started like slowly fizzling away, low key.
Mm. This collection had like, and that's when Alix was at the height of the superpowers. Ambush was going crazy, and fam, and nobody was dressing like this.
Yeah.
That's the wilder part about it. Like, because it's so obvious, but at the same time, bro, what a time to be alive, fam. What a time to, the pandemic didn't
So
happen yet.
finally, this stream is about Kim Jones, not for.
Bro,
It's
Leo
kind
said-
of all relevant because we're talking about like how Kim Jones was able to capture a zeitgeist, and then it's like saying almost like why Pharrell's struggling to do the same thing, and like what he could change, or why does he think a certain way with the way he designs, and why isn't it resonating in mass? Um, so yeah, that's really why it's still relevant.
Yeah.
Leo said this collection went triple platinum, but with hella features.
Oh, it did have the features. It did actually have. It had all the features. It had the set features. It had the design features. Had the accessories features. It had,
Micah, do you remember? I was mentioning earlier, Micah. Do you remember when we went to Dover Street Market? I can't remember what it was for. I think it was Alistair McKim, like from ID.
Yeah.
Had some event at Dover Street Market. When we met Stephen Jones, and we asked him about the Dior hats. He was telling us about the Dior hats.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
It was like, yeah, and I told Kim that putting the buckle on the hat is
That's how he
the hat's
sounds.
just gonna be far too back heavy. So then I suggested, how about on Skepta we just put it the other way around, and then it will stay on the
He
forehead.
said, how about to make sure that the counterbalance is okay, if you turn the cap backwards, you actually start to find that the balance of the hardware makes sure that the cap stays on the head. I love Stephen Jones, man. So passionate about what he does. Absolute legend.
Oh wait, that's funny. I didn't even know that was the picture. Because I just remember the Skepta thing that you guys were talking about.
Yeah.
It's
My
that.
head. That's hilarious, fam. That actually happened. That's wild. But yeah, like just to, because I was low-key the one that evoked Pharrell's name, and we kind of, but it was more so because Pharrell's low-key the beginning of the end. Like we passed the end game of LVMH, and things might go a little stale from here, because this is the old guard moving out, and then there's a new guard moving in, and I don't believe whoever, like, if it's not like Galliano coming to Dior,
Which is probably not going to happen.
yeah, I don't believe that like they're going in a direction of, let's say, people with like this poignant, pure, unadulterated voice coming into Dior. Like you'd have to be so focused on and single-minded in your goal of taking over Dior. But like I feel like there's gonna be a little bit of a hesitation here, and it's gonna be a little bit more subdued, just like the direction they're going in with Loewe, and the direction they went with LV, the possible direction they go with Celine, and then the direction they're going in Dior is a little bit more like stealth wealth or incognito, whatever it is.
Would
right?
that work though? I just don't.
I don't think it will work,
that's
but I
gonna work.
think that's the direction that they're going in.
But why? If I was consulting for the brand, I'll tell them hard no. You won't win. If you're trying to do stealth wealth at your brand, there are people that do it better and in a way that you probably won't be able to do.
With
And
high
those
quality
brands are
materials too.
Yeah, like that's not the way to go. What you guys need to do is take advantage of your atelier and do techniques that other people would struggle to do, maybe because they don't have the development, and that's how you win.
Bro, that's the other thing about Kim Jones. He took couture techniques for
ready to wear. That's
women's
facts.
wear, and oh my,
That's
bro,
facts.
if I had the time, I would I would want us to go through every single collection from this moment that we're watching here up until like I don't even know whether we should.
Hey, it's Kim Jones Day.
Oh man, But yeah, this was the impetus of, yeah, like he made guys think they could put a bomber jacket on their collection and call it luxury. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
then these times Kim Jones was tailoring in menswear, and the tailoring was so like, it was such a niche part of the project, that such a niche part of his thing. People don't even talk about it like that. People don't even talk about the Kim Jones tailoring like that. They talk about the embroidery more than they do the tailoring, which is wild because the cut of his garments,
He had a signature cut. He definitely did.
they were just phenomenal. And I understand why people didn't talk about it, because Kim Jones didn't talk about it, but and the couture
I
techniques,
think he did a few
especially,
times. He did a few
yeah,
times in
it was a
interviews.
few. It wasn't enough for my liking. I'll be real, because when he's doing these overcoats, when he's and then let's not even go to the overcoats actually. When he's doing like bomber jackets, when he's doing just old puffer jackets, just regular stuff, those things are tailored too. And I don't think people know that they can be tailored. Like, one thing that I've gotten used to now is tailoring my regular clothes. But that's from knowing that you can do that from watching what Kim Johnson's done. Because you can alter the sleeves on your jacket.
Yeah, of course.
Like, but the thing is, people don't know that.
Also the
But
shoulders, everything.
exactly. And you can cut the shoulders to make it, like, if you've got slight shoulders, you can cut them. If you've got broader shoulders, you can, you know what I'm saying? But away from that, I'm back onto Kim Jones. What he done was great tailoring. Like, obviously these guys are like bog standard model sizes, but then yeah, when you go to, let's say, the Skepta look, and like what the way that Skepta wore Dior, you
Damn, Kim
see
Jones was
someone wearing
sprinting.
tailored clothes. Sorry, I'm ranting now, but I feel like I'm ranting. But what he's
I'm
done,
just listening. I'm just listening.
what he done for tailoring is wild. And like, this is why I think, brands like Amelie and Dor is interesting, or even like Cole Bucks. Is it Cole Buxton? Yeah,
Yeah, Cole
Cole
Buxton.
Buxton is interested because Kim Jones, like, those ideas flourish because of what Kim Jones has done for certain things. Like, when people can actually see the way your atelier, or see you actually cutting and sewing, people care about that stuff, partially because Kim Jones put that in the forefront. Like, I remember, wait, can you go to I think it was a main collection,
Which
and I
one?
think it was either autumn winter 20 or spring summer 20, where he was doing the embroidered raindrops. Do you remember that one?
Oh,
Let me see if I can find it.
let
I
me see if
forgot
I can
what
find it.
number collection that was.
I don't know
But that,
exactly which collection it
I,
was, but I know what you're talking about.
yeah. So that one, bro, like, just watching the BTS for that was crack to me. I'll be real. Like,
I will say, during Kim Jones's time, someone who documented his time perfectly was
Louis
Louis
Vuitton.
Vuitton. Oh my god. The Kim Jones, especially videos that Louis Vuitton was making,
oh yeah,
were
yeah, yeah.
impeccable. They were so impeccable and so detailed.
Let me
Like
tell you.
literally look to look, every single look, inspiration explained. That's probably why, like, till today, all these collections, I still remember exactly what the ideas were for behind most of them.
Give me a sec. Let me just find the name of the collection.
Right,
Um,
what does she want to say? Yeah, Granny can be fun, interesting. I think in general, across all shows, there's a total lack of detail. The amount of details in shows from decades ago is astounding in comparison. So many less seams. Yeah, but that's to do with
okay,
price
so it
cuts.
was autumn winter. Give me a sec. I don't know whether it's autumn winter 21 or 22. Give me a sec. I
Where
think
can you
it's,
find it? Just type Loic Pigeon Dior
wait. I don't
in
think I
YouTube.
saw Loic Prison. Let me just put it in the
Yeah,
chat.
yeah, I put it in the chat.
Oh, great.
Bro,
Let me.
Luke's bugging.
No, but Luke, that's Luke's signature.
Yeah, Luke is prone to bug. I'll be real. Like he'll be on your side one day.
We need positive and negative opinions in the chat to
For
balance it
sure.
out.
For sure, fam.
Life is about balance.
Jennifer Anderson will prove to be one of the. Oh my word! I don't even want to say that out loud because that's just. Anyway, British designers
A real
are on
hate.
a rampage at these houses, and I think it needs to be studied how the UK effed up and the BFC effed up with
Yeah.
not keeping a lot of people here. Because I can tell you right now, Daniel Lee's about to flourish other places.
Oh,
Let's be careful with where we think Daniel Lee is gonna start flourishing, sir.
Wait, I don't know. Wait, did I say something wrong?
No,
oh,
but this Burberry
No,
spell
he's
has
not
gone.
Burberry.
look,
When he leaves
look.
Burberry, fam, I'm not talking
Okay.
about Burberry. Like,
So I'm like, oof.
no.
This Burberry spell, and I don't actually think any of it is Daniel Lee's fault. I've always maintained that
Yeah,
opinion.
yeah, no, like,
It's the CEO that I don't know what the CEO was thinking about those prices, but that's the main issue, nothing else.
Wait, silly question, but just humor me. Is
He's-
he still he's still at Burberry, right?
I don't think
Who,
so.
Daniel Lee?
He's gone now, right? Is he gone?
You know what? I don't actually know.
I
Okay,
think
cool.
he's gone.
Because on my Twitter, I feels like every day people be making rumors about Daniel Lee. So at this point, I don't even know what's true and what's
Bro,
not.
I put it in the private chat, but it
So
is-
apparently he's rumored to be leaving to go to Jill Sander. That's like what people are saying.
Oh yeah, that is the rumor, but I don't.
Okay,
Yeah,
but it's not
I think
confirmed.
he's already
No.
left Burberry though. No. Okay, maybe the fashion rumor mill maybe have got
Yeah,
me.
no,
I've
it
been,
actually goes
Also,
crazy.
in the meantime, Dammy, I'll put the show on the screen.
please. Oh my days! What a time to be
Yeah, but this
alive.
was a collection. I said that this was a collection where, for me, when it came to Kim Jones, I was like, okay, like this
No,
is
like
my
I
ish.
remember that because I was gassing Kim Jones from Wade, and then you were just kind of like, yeah, it's cool, but and then
Because
this
the early
collection,
collections weren't for me, but I could
yeah,
see how important it was culturally. Like it was selling, people were wearing it. It was changing the face of menswear. But this collection was what I
yeah,
actually liked.
the opera
Also,
gloves.
Tarek,
Oh,
thank you so much for the super chat. No question. I'd at least make me work for it.
oh, wait, there's rumors that who might go to Burberry? No way, Kim Jones. I don't
Wait,
want
give
Kim
Dior
Jones.
to Charles Jeffrey. Okay, AZ.
Yeah, no,
Let's
chill, chill. And I actually like Charles Jeffries. He's a British designer. That's what, like,
So do I. Shout out to the
so.
Brits.
But don't. Let's just, you know, what I'm saying
Damn,
this what we'll talk about. When
The UK has motion, man. What do you mean this
In
tiny?
fashion,
bro,
definitely.
Yeah, what the hell?
bro, the designers that we come up with is actually crazy.
Oh,
Like,
Shout out to
motion.
Galliano and McQueen.
yeah, and like I feel like I may be stretching it, but I do feel like it's better than the French schools and
Mm.
the Italian schools as well. I think we bar for
Italian, I can agree with you. French,
bar,
I
bar
mean,
for
if
bar.
you say now,
Yeah,
what the
now.
talent we produce is definitely better than
Oh
anywhere
yeah,
else in the
past 10
world.
years. I'm only talking about
But
past 10 years.
historically,
Historically,
no one
no.
is competing with France,
No,
bro.
no one. No. Yeah, I wouldn't
Nobody
be that
is competing
blasphemous.
with France.
Like, but past 10 years, our generation, if we just focus in
Yeah,
on like
past 10 years,
20 years even.
talent-wise, yeah, no one competes with London, but
Shout out
historically,
to
no one
Louise
competes with
Wilson
France.
for making CSM what it is today. Because I don't know what CSM's doing today. I'll be real. Let me be honest.
Yeah,
CSM
UK
is
talent, past 10 years, decent.
Yeah, no. Shout out to the U. And I think like the best UK talent was cultivated outside of CSM. Not to say that they didn't go CSM, but like when they had to make rubber hit the road, the people that became good outside of university. Like
Always.
they really had to test their absolute might because yeah, coming up in this system is just hard. Like in the UK London system, I'm talking about. It's just difficult and it's expensive.
And there aren't as many jobs. Like, if you're French, literally, you can. If you're French, there's like LVMH and Kering. and you can work at a house while you build your own brand, and you can kind of do that on the side, and then you can like there's just more opportunities in London. You are on your own. You just
bro.
have to rent some dingy ass room and just make that your studio and start grinding.
Bro, and I think that is low key, not to say that everyone needs to struggle, but that's low key the best thing for some people.
Yeah,
Because I feel like the French students, no, because I got a lot of French student friends, right?
right.
But so, like it can get a little bit easy. Like you can end up, oh, I'm interning at Loewe, so on and so forth. Suddenly you're just like an internal designer, and your dream was to be a creative director, you know what I mean? But here you actually have to, first of all, you have to get rent to get the studio. Now you have to sell pieces, bro. And that's
Yeah.
what the UK builds. It's like, yo, I know my designs are hitting. I'm gonna make the best designs possible. But then also I know I have to make rent. Shout out to Rent is Due, by the way. My new
I mean,
video was
The Belgian designers also. So I think London and well, Belgium as a country, but mainly Antwerp,
yeah,
also produces like I think Antwerp designers are in mass better than French designers over the past, let's say, 10 years, like that have been produced.
mm,
And if you think of like new era designers, like seasoned but new era designers that studied in Antwerp, and I'm not talking about the Antwerp Six, they're not like
yeah.
new era. I'm talking more like the Chris Van Ashes of the world,
I
the
was about to ask you
Botters. They went to the Royal Academy. Um, so no, Belgium also has been producing some,
some
like even
crazy.
Glenn Martens is another example. Like Belgium has been producing some serious designers. So yeah, I do think it's like London and Belgium mainly. I haven't really seen like new talent. Italy and France, nah.
Nah, not new talent. No, like
New
they're
talent,
good
not
at
really.
bringing people up for like nurturing through a system once someone is like about to be established, but I don't see them just making them out of thin air. Like the last one I saw was that one with that guy with three names.
Wait, who said the guy with three names? Who's that?
Yeah, the one with a van in his name. He's got a van.
Wait, who's the, I'm like, who's this guy talking about? Um,
He's something Van something. I forgot his name.
Van,
Wait, from what country?
I don't know what country he's from, but he's got a
probably
van in his name,
Dutch or
so he's
something. If
Dutch.
if if
Yeah,
he has a van, it's
What?
probably
yeah.
Dutch.
And it's not okay.
No, I swear, like, wait, who worked at Andamila Misa again?
Okay, I had a
Yeah.
feeling that's who you're talking about, but if that's who you're trying to say is an idea of good talent, I'm not going to agree with you.
No, I didn't say good talent. I'm talking
Okay,
about that is what they're producing.
okay,
Didn't he work in Paris? Didn't he
okay.
school in Paris?
Yeah, because when he said Vash,
Yeah.
like Chris Van Ash is actually a good designer.
No,
I'm not. I
whoa,
wasn't.
whoa, hey,
Chris Van Ash is a really good designer. We're not talking about Chris
guys,
Van Ash.
please.
I think you meant
Said
you
Robin
meant.
Van Persie.
Robin Van Persie is hilarious.
Yeah, I know
Yo.
who you meant.
Yeah. Sorry, I forgot his name.
Mr. Jean Paul Gaultier latest collection, basically. Um,
Yeah, I'm trying to find like I and Micah knows. Like I'm always trying to find new designers. So like I'm not even trying to knock anyone else.
yeah.
I'm just like in the discovery process of me looking for designers. The British ones are actually hitting for something.
Yeah, I mean, outside of all these fashion capitals too, you have to look elsewhere.
Of
Like
course.
China has been producing insane talent. I think Japan always does.
You think Japan produces insane talent?
Yeah,
Like at a good clip.
I mean, new era, Kane Inamiya, Kunihiko
Okay,
Murinaga,
you keep
Anne
getting me with
Rillage.
Kane Mio, but like, can like, you know what I'm saying, Famsky?
That's a new era though.
It's new era, but like, okay, past 5 years.
Past 5 years.
Actually, let's say 2019, because coming up through the pandemic is difficult.
I mean, some Korean designers. I think my issue with Korean designers is that a lot of them especially the ones that show at Paris Fashion Week, have a very similar aesthetic.
Yeah,
So it's less compared to like Japanese designers or like Chinese designers that, to me, are doing things that I'm like, yo.
mm.
Some designers are especially like from China and Japan. I'm like, what these guys are doing, I actually haven't seen before.
Is Chitose
Um,
Abe new era though?
no, not
Yeah,
really,
not really. Well,
not
I'm
really.
saying past 5 years. Like, and this the thing, right? I like Japanese designers. Like, I wear like half my stuff is Japanese because like I'm short with long legs and everything like that.
Hmm.
But at the same time, I'm saying, yo, who do we look to? And yeah,
Who
that
are the
jacket,
biggest names that have emerged in fashion over the past 5 years? I'm trying to think.
the biggest names, ERD, Kid Super,
Okay.
um, who else? 5 years. Oh, that's tough.
Would you
Um,
put the likes of all those like the Peter Does and like would
Peter
you
Doe,
add
yeah,
them
I
to
would
the
put Peter Doe there, yeah.
um
Um, like some names have disappeared though. That's the problem.
yeah, that's true.
Some names have disappeared. So like I can say like who's that other American designer that
What ERL?
designs? No, no, no,
Or
no.
okay, who?
The one that does the dresses, the black guy.
Yeah, I love Bianca
What?
Saunders' work. I
Yeah,
mean, Martine Rose, I'll just never put her there because Martine Rose has been designing for a really long time. Now,
bro.
Martine
Yeah,
Rose, I when I think of Martine Rose, because I've known about Martine Rose for so long, I wouldn't necessarily put her in the like past 5 years
yeah.
group.
It's so crazy with Martin Rose because she's been designing for 20 years. Like
20
when I first
plus.
found out about her, I thought I was late. But imagine being early and someone was designing for 10 years. Like I found out about Martin Rose, what, 2017?
Like Martine Rose has been around. Okay, Christopher John Rogers.
Yeah, John
Past
Rogers.
5 years.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. You
yeah,
can
yeah,
put
yeah.
Christopher
John
John
Rogers.
Rogers
That's who
there.
I was
Yeah,
speaking
yeah,
about.
yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Damn.
Um,
I haven't had my morning coffee. So yeah, it's CJR.
it says a
He's
lot
amazing.
that I'm trying to think because it means there haven't been too many emerging over the past five
Bro,
specifically.
this is the thing, right? Like only the tough survive like in this era. So it's like and
Good shout, by the way, the Botters. Good shout.
ooh, Lucy and Richemi. Lucy, wait, they're Belgium, I swear.
Well, they are,
Kind of. Study.
yeah.
They study
Like,
like
I think Rushemi's from like a Dutch colony or something like that.
yeah. Yeah,
Um,
he's from the Caribbean.
like
I
a
thought he
Caribbean
was
island, like Curacao or something, I think.
yeah, I thought he had like Commonwealth citizenship and was British, but yeah, like I don't know. I don't know exactly how Rushem. I haven't actually spoke to him recently. It's been a good year. Damn, I need to yeah, I need to actually nurture that still. Damn, man had the next video on
Oh,
what?
don't worry, we're efficient.
That was crazy. That was amazing. Yo, you are waves on that one. Oh my days. Um, but yeah, when the Butters were working at Nina Ricci, amazing.
Yeah, that I think that was when they rose to prominence because I think they were building noise already. They had they had exhibitions in the Momu, like their stuff was being showcased. They're building a bit of noise, but once they went to Ninarichi, yeah, that was when they went. Oh, Maximilian Davis. How did I forget about Maximilian? That's very true. Over the past
But
5 years, that's true.
he came
Um,
into power, but
past 5 years, what you would mention him?
no,
He hasn't been at Ferragamo for
but
that long.
he's British, first of all, technically. He's obviously Caribbean. Shout out to the Caribbean designers. We just named 3 Caribbean designers in a row.
Oh yeah,
Um,
they're cooking.
yeah.
The Caribbean designers they're cooking. Harris Reed out, but yeah, he is one of the biggest names though. Past 5 years, that's true. Robert
Yeah.
Woon. I see Robert Woon as I wouldn't put him in the past
Mm,
5 years. I think he's been around for
he's
a
been
bit too
around
long for
since
to say that.
before, like
Um,
no, but he's come up when we came up, like 2017-ish times.
yeah,
But like still, that's like not
someone
like
said maybe Rick.
Nah, come on, come on.
maybe Rick
No,
is
they're obviously trolling, but it's just funny.
Okay, okay.
Zoe is dope, but like Zoe isn't
Prominent like the
yeah,
other people we've mentioned. Yeah.
like Zoe makes garments for people. They actually act like an actual atelier slash couturier, but yeah, like it's not like we're gonna do a runway show 2 times a season, and I'm actually gonna bring my rules back.
June J, I can see that. I mean, June J, I put it kind of in a category of, even though it's been around for kind of a while, I put it in a category of like the Peter Does and stuff of the world. But I can agree with June J.
I think Daniel. She said that Imanu said Daniel Lee and Matthew Blaze, but
Matteo
it's
Blasi has been
it's
around
kind of
for
tense.
no.
24,
I've known who Matteo Blasi was for
yeah, it's
forever.
like
I mean,
2014 is like
cool. He was behind the scenes slightly at Margiela and like a lot of other roles he's had, but especially when he was at Calvin Klein, he was literally front and center. Like I used to see his face all the damn time. When he was with Ras Simmons at Calvin Klein.
mm,
So yeah, I wouldn't say he's like a new like emerging designer that's like really popped over the past 5 years. I think he was already big before. Uh,
that's funny, fam. Yo, Luke is going hamski. But yeah, he's been around for ages. But this the thing, right? Like he is rising. I would say Blazy's rising to prominence,
he's
and we'll
about to
see
rise
what.
to the top.
Yeah,
His is a
literally,
different one.
like
He's
his.
a yeah.
Wait, did Luke say remember Margiela?
Yeah, you
Oh
know,
wait, yeah. Yeah, he
he's
has
just
been around
trolling.
since. Yeah, but in like I'm
W
bringing
troll.
back my rules. So I had, especially when I was writing, I had old school rules, right? So it was you have to have at least 2 collections a year. You have to have had 10 collections out for you to be considered like you're coming into the game. Because some people have one good collection or one good look, and we say this person is fire.
Yeah.
That unfortunately that's just not the way that it works in fashion, and especially as a business, right?
Do you know
Which is
someone
what.
who's risen to prominence in
Oh,
the past 5 years that I just thought about?
who's that?
Sharaf Tajer Casablanca.
Oof, whoa, he might be the top of that list then.
Because Casablanca is a huge brand now, by the
Quiet
way.
is kept. He is literally like, if he was like the real type of white, he would be as big as Jacques Mousse. I'm sorry, I have to say it like that.
That's crazy.
That's insane.
I'm sorry I have to, but no, Sharaf is going wild, bro. Like
No,
Casablanca is one of them
Casablanca has
ones.
been going crazy. They're making
One
so
of them,
much money.
they survived during the pandemic, bro. Anyone that survived during the pandemic, I give them their kudos. But if he was, let's say, an Italian designer, people would be
Yeah.
lauding him differently.
Wells Bonner has been around for a while, but I'll give it to her more so than Martine Rose because I think she genuinely gained prominence over the past 5 years. Like a
Yeah.
lot of people outside the UK didn't really know who she was until like the past 5 years. Shout out to Kendrick Lamar.
Mm. Yeah, no. Sharaf is fam. Sharaf is actually top of that list for
No,
me.
Sharaf has been killing the game.
Like he cares, bro.
If Kane was Brazilian, he'd have a Ballon d'Or.
That is so crazy. Damn, he's doing the. Listen, yeah. That isn't actually the argument. My argument is that Sharaf is valuable on the business side and the consumer side. However, the investment that Jacques Mousse has gotten isn't solely because his design and business acumen is up there. Sharaf's
Right.
business acumen is actually up there. He just doesn't have the investment capital that Jacques Mousse has gotten to actually expand his business. Like Sharaf broke the £4 million barrier. Sorry, I'm gonna go on a rant now.
Yeah,
I
Tebe
apologize.
Mugugu, I agree with this one too, Tebe.
Tebe
Marine
is
Serre, no, she's been around
no,
for way too long.
stop. I remember
Marine
seeing
Serre
that.
was damn near like one of the winners of the first LVMH prizes.
Yeah.
She's
Okay.
been around for way too long.
I was about to go on a rant, but I stopped because Sharaf is actually crazy. Sharaf is doing insane bits. People need to put more, respect on his name.
No, maybe I think people just don't clock how successful like Casablanca actually is. I think people don't realize.
Bro, to break through the $4 million revenue bar is
You're talking about
insane.
4 million. They definitely make way more than
No,
that.
I'm saying like as a business, the way that his business is running
Oh,
as
okay.
an operator, he done that on his ones. Like to have your manufacturing and your supply chain correct as like a small to medium sized business, so you can break that barrier,
Hmm.
is the most difficult thing. Like my brother's an accountant, and we talk about it from time to time as well. And it's like for a business to actually create and generate revenue by themselves without investment, like people buy
Yeah.
parts of people's businesses just so they can break that $4 million revenue barrier. But
So,
Sharaf,
so the thing about Casablanca though is
oh
that
wow, you see the
first of all,
racism?
Shisha version represent is wild,
That,
but
that's gotta
that
be
is
racist.
white. That is
It's gotta be
flagrant.
racist.
But Casablanca is a lifestyle, bro. It's more lifestyle than it is. I don't think the designs are necessarily groundbreaking, but people when you buy, it's very much like if you buy Casablanca, you go to Formula One Grand Prix and you wear
Mm,
Casablanca in Monaco, in you buy like I'll show you guys something, right? Let me show you guys because
bro,
you guys might not know how tapped in Casablanca is.
bro,
So
they don't know
like,
this. And to
let
be
me
fair,
give you guys the edu.
it's not anybody's
um,
fault. But while you're doing that, let me just say, yeah,
okay, so this is a collaboration that Casablanca did with Saint Dupont. I don't know how many of you know what Saint Dupont is, but Saint Dupont makes some of the highest quality lighters in the world. These are the kind of lighters that rich people that buy really expensive cigars use, right? And so this is the market that Casablanca is catering to. These are the kind of collabs that they do. This is like if you really study the brand and see the market that they're targeting, you'll realize why they're so successful because they truly like really understand the market. And by the way, this collab is actually sick. Like they made an ashtray,
it's
a
amazing.
humidor for cigars, the lighter, the pen. Like this stuff is amazing.
And can I just stop one thing right now, yeah? Because people say, "Oh, groundbreaking this, groundbreaking that." One, a designer doesn't need to be groundbreaking. We get one of those every like 10 years or so, so it's like few and far between. But Grace Osborne is doing today is not groundbreaking. But people treat her like she's one of the better of the designers because of her, let's say, her conceptual acumen that she done in her early days. But when she was doing high concept, high vis things, people wasn't buying into it. So forgive me if I say Casablanca is wavy, but
I think this is
people
a
don't think
different
it's
audience. I
groundbreaking.
think that uh Wells Bonner's work is really intellectual, and Casablanca's clothing is not about being
It's not,
intellectual. It's
yeah, it's not
about
about
a
that.
lifestyle. That's just what it is. It's just a
But is it
lifestyle
not
type of
about
thing.
like sorry, not to cut you, but like are we saying then that it can't be intellectual in some parts? Or should I say what Sharaf is doing isn't intellectual because it doesn't look it on the offset?
Mm.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because yeah, like Sharaf may be doing some intellectual stuff and he just never talks about it because that's not his audience's taste palette.
Yeah,
They're not here for the intellectual stuff.
yeah. But trust me, Casablanca,
Yeah.
like as like yeah, because
Yeah.
I study the brand because I think a lot of what they do is successful, and I think there's a lot to learn, especially because I'm like getting more and more into consulting. I think there's a lot to learn branding, positioning wise, target audience, marketing wise from Casablanca.
Bro,
That's why I'm
Casablanca,
interested in the brand.
like because I don't even want to say it like this, but I do believe that like what Amelie and Dor and brands like Coldbucks and Wanna Be is what what's it Casablanca is actually doing.
Yeah, facts.
Like and even like someone said Luigi. I don't even know why you should ever be rude like that.
Rude is nowhere near
Like I don't care
Casablanca.
whether he was in, Lake Como or whatever it is, bro. Like,
Didn't they say my man was in debt and all sorts?
bro, buying Rolls Royces or whatever,
Yeah,
buying
let's not
supercars.
confess. Casablanca's an actual business. Like,
Yeah. Why? Oh, you're not saying Palmanians is good, are you, Zinga? You couldn't possibly be. Ottolenghi pop out. When did Ottolenghi? Ottolenghi's been about for time.
yeah.
They've been about for time. I remember them when I was like in the heat of my Ryan. So
Bro, I googled it. Casablanca's revenue was estimated to be between 50 to 100 million in 2022.
100%. That's the pandemic, bro. That is the Are you deep? I don't think people are actually deep in
That's
what
way
it.
more money than Rude, I can assure you.
Bro, that's more money than what Jacques Mousse was making during the pandemic.
And there's there's a System magazine interview where they specifically state that, let me just see when this was published. They said that they were making 45 million. Wait, 1 second. Okay, this came out in 2022. So in 2022, confirmed, System, they're making 45 million. So if they've started making even more, which I would guess they have, it's looking closer to the 100 million, to be fair. So, yeah, Rude. When we talk about Casablanca, Rude should not be in that conversation. No offense.
Yeah, no. But no. But like I was saying, to cap off the Casablanca combo, yeah, he would be on the same level as Simon from Jacquemus if they treated them
Yeah.
equally. He should be getting the same type of press coverage as Simon for his advertising as well, because Simon and Casablanca's ads are actually wild, bro.
I
Look at
also
them.
think it's very important to mention because I don't know why Casablanca doesn't get the respect they deserve when Jacques Mousse to me isn't groundbreaking in any way, like clothing design wise.
Thank
So
you.
it comes down to like this is why I feel like sometimes in fashion, a lot of it has to do with like how you look. If people like the way you look, those kind of like intangible things that you don't really have any control over. Because, bro, Jacques Mousse was looking like Zara loads of seasons in a row. Obviously, the last season they kind of paired it up a bit, but then it kind of looks like a Laia and Schiaparelli and a mixture of other brands. But like, if it's about clothing design, if that's the argument you're going to make, then Jacques Mousse doesn't have any clothing design over Casablanca. I just think they're both commercial and they're selling you a lifestyle, not really intricate designs and design techniques.
Oh, for sure. But yeah, like with that being said, like there's been some great designers that have come out over the past 5 years. I do think the UK takes the biscuit. Anyone can, we can go bar for bar, designer for designer, and see who comes out on top.
What's
But
in the pro-British?
I remember when we used to be a proper country.
What in the back to the old England is going on here?
No, like it's just there's so much cultural nuance as well that we get from just being in London. Like, not to say that London makes the best designers, but yeah, we just doing it.
Yeah.
M for M on designer. Yeah, fam. Yeah, man, come on. Well, I would do that. Like the top 5 designers in the past 10 years. No, let's not say 10. Past 5 years have been British. Like 5 of the top 10 have been
Who are
British.
the names?
Kim Jones, Daniel Lee, what's it called?
Daniel Lee at Bottega's time definitely is
Bottega,
like
yeah.
goated.
Bottega. I'm only talking about
Because
Bottega.
if you're talking about Burberry, bro, let's just X that
JW
out of
Anderson.
the
Yeah,
convo.
no. I'm respecting people.
I was like,
respecting
if that's what we're talking about,
No, I don't. No, this is the thing, right? If I didn't come from Britain, because I don't come from Britain, let's just start there. That's just my nationality. Like, that's not even my nationality. Let's be real. But yeah. Anyways, so Kim Jones, J.W. Anderson, Daniel Lee, Give me a sec. That's 3 up. I just need 2 more, fam. You could probably help me with the other 2, but you're trying. Yeah, I don't know what you're
No,
trying to do.
I just want to see because the way you
Of,
said it
of,
with confidence.
I said 5 of the top 10. That's that's
You
that's
said
being nice.
British designers take the biscuits. I was like,
Did
okay.
I say that? I never said that. That's probably what a comment said. Give me a sec.
I was like,
I don't
okay,
want to. I
sir.
don't count Kiko.
You don't count Kiko.
No.
Obviously, Kiko is what I
As
think
a top-
Bulgarian, but
As a top 10 designer,
he's London based. Wait, you
I don't
don't
think
think
he was
Kiko is like?
top 10 designers of the past 5 years. Not really.
I mean, Kiko Kasadnov is not a big enough brand to make the impact where you can make the argument. But in terms of like design acumen, I definitely put Kiko up there. No,
No, he's one of my favorite designers, but at the same time, I'm respectable with the take. Like, if I
yeah.
were to say that, then I could easily say Grace as well, and all of these other people.
AZ said Samuel Ross and Simon Russia. Do you want to put any of them in the pool?
I would put Simon Rocha there, yeah.
Especially because she had the Jean Paul Gaultier collection also.
I don't want to put Martine in there.
Yeah, Molly Goddard, no.
No.
Nah.
So let's be respectful. Like, Molly Goddard is good, but this the thing.
I'm a fan of Molly Goddard, like super big fan of Molly Goddard. But bro, she's barely had. I remember there was a time when I was way younger, like maybe like 17, everyone was wearing her tall dresses, bro.
Bro,
I can't remember the last time I saw someone wearing Molly Goddard. I don't even know, is the brand even like really that active?
what a time to be alive, fam. What a time to be alive.
No, the Molly Goddard dresses were not, because they have so much volume, so you'd see women wearing them on the street just taking up space. I really loved it.
But yeah, no, fam. But yeah, no, that's 5. That's 5. Like, we could say Kiko, we could say
I feel like
Martine.
you could
We
whip
could
out
say-
one more compelling name for
Who's
us.
that?
I don't know. I just
Martin
wasn't-
Rose, Wells
I was
Bonner.
more-
Like,
No,
who do you want?
there's a lot of good British or good designers that come out of Britain. But to respect the take, I would just say 5 of the top 10, because like I don't want to dilute the 5, because we already named like the biggest heavy hitters, which is Kim
Yeah,
Jones.
Stella's time at Chloe is definitely legendary, and it also is the reason why Phoebe Philo designs the way she does. Let's be frank.
But didn't Stella's company shut down just like recently?
No, bro. All that happened was Stella McCartney was like a sustainability consultant or something along those lines for LVMH, and they parted ways.
Oh, that's what
So
happened.
now she's still consulting on sustainability for LVMH, but it's like from a distance. But all I think it says, shout out Stephen Jones. All I think it says is wait, 1 second. What did you just do with that hat? Wait, one second.
He's pressing it.
Okay. I was just
Yeah,
I was
it's,
like, wait.
it's a,
Okay, there we go. So yeah, it says a lot about LVMH, the fact that she feels like she can't do that internally anymore, that they just don't give an F about sustainability and all that stuff. Very telling.
shout out to your ex-employer, fam. Everybody knows I was your ex-employer, right?
Yes.
All right, yeah.
I don't talk about them though, but
Yeah, I know you don't. Yeah, but yeah, like do people want to say Christopher Kane? That's interesting. I wouldn't put Craig Green there, even though a lot of people like Craig Green.
Craig Green, design acumen wise, yes. Impact wise, no.
Yeah,
Like
I wouldn't put
overall
Bianca
impact wise.
Saunders. I love Bianca Saunders. I wouldn't put Priya. Love Priya. Love Sam Ross. But yeah, like out of like Sam Ross almost had a run, but it was just cut short by whatever happened business
Did
wise.
AZ say Kane is Scottish? We're claiming it as all one Britain.
Britain, that's Britain, bro.
Britain. We didn't say England. We said Britain.
Yeah, man.
That's how we're scamming today.
Trust. Hey, it's not a scam if it's true, because it is part of Britain. I don't
Great
rep.
Britain. We're not just talking about.
Yeah, trust me. I don't rep London. I rep the whole of us, innit? England. You know what I'm saying?
England is crazy. Bro.
You know what? That's interesting, Tarek. I never really thought about that. Yeah, Priya might be pretty. I just look at her designs.
No comment.
As someone who's met her, yeah, I can say,
No
quite a,
comment.
quite a lovely designer.
No comment.
Yeah, man. No, I like some of her
Bro,
collections.
these are my contemporaries. I'm not about to get caught lacking.
You know,
I'll just say it straight up.
I like her designs, bro.
I
That's
mean,
what
I have a whole video on her work, so yeah,
I,
I definitely appreciate her work.
I don't want to be talking about people that like, you know what I'm saying? That's kind of wilding. The Lara,
This is true, by the way. It's hard to keep up sometimes. Things are going all over the place.
yeah, bro, this like the fashion game is about to change, and a lot of people aren't gonna like it. I can tell
I
you
think
right
it's going to
now.
change for the worse, and then it will be for the better. I think it'll
Of
change for the
course,
worse for a bit. The brands that need to die will die, and then it will return back to what it needs to
bro,
be.
only the strong survive. Watch LVMH make
Bro,
acquisitions like in the next 10 to
but
15
they
years.
have to. But do you know why they have to? Because a lot of their brands cannot grow anymore. And the reason why those brands cannot grow anymore, like I've explained, they have the biggest designers designing the most commercial things there, and they're cutting the maximum corners. They've basically maximized all the profits they can maximize from a lot of these brands. Like they've taken it to where it's going to reach. So a lot of these brands are at a point where you just, if you want to still make money, but acquire new brands, smaller brands that you can scale up. And that's why we're going to see, like you said, LVMH buy
Yeah,
these younger brands that they can start to scale, because a lot of those legacy houses, I'm telling you, they're not going. I think
bro,
we're finally starting to see the end of like this crazy growth, and it's just going to stagnate.
bro, this is gonna be a bear period for these conglomerates. And what do I mean by that? It's like they're gonna have to buy into greatness so that
Yeah,
they can continue growing, right? And on the other side of that, it's like, okay, we need to actually figure out who's gonna be great. Which means like if they aren't thinking already about buying Casablanca or buying Kid Super, like they need to heavily consider it and give them offers they can't refuse so that they
yeah,
can grow those businesses and integrate them into their systems. Because what LVMH does isn't just the buy fashion houses, they also buy hotels, they buy real estate, they buy all of these other things, and then they put the designers to work and do interior design, they do furniture design, all of these other things so that they can cross pollinate
do you
their
think we're
company.
gonna see like a rise of some independent brands that are gonna really go big? Like we're talking about Casablanca pushing 100 mil. You have Le Maire that have a few investors, but no like majority
Mm,
investors like that. So Le Maire obviously made 100 mil. There's a few of these brands. I mean, like Jacques Mousse is making like multiple. There are a few brands that are coming where they haven't been acquired by these, and I hope they hold out and just keep growing
mm.
by themselves, so they can kind of like disrupt the system. I don't really like this idea that LVMH is going to buy everything and have a monopoly in fashion. That's not really good. In any industry, it's not good for any company to have a monopoly. It messes up with competition and it just messes everything up.
But is it really a monopoly though if they just have like a couple of the best designers and buying people so that they can't compete with them?
Since when
There's
did Bernard Arnault only acquire a couple?
no, he's only got a couple because the other people have the other ones that he doesn't have Diesel. He doesn't have
Bro, the
you know,
second he can snake Renzo Russo, he's going to do that and collect it.
he doesn't have
That
Balenciaga.
man is a cobra.
Like literally for all of um you know what everybody has been saying in fashion about Balenciaga, Balenciaga still goes ham in sales. I'm talking about.
Hmm.
So it's like Balenciaga is still one of them. Gucci is a little bit falling off. I can't lie. Shout out to your guy, that is the head of Gucci, but like he's I
Wait,
don't know.
who's
My
your guy?
guy.
Is
I was like,
Desano your
what?
guy, bro?
I was like, what?
Yeah, no, that's his guy, fam. Like
Wait,
when I
that's your
was
guy, is it?
that's Io's guy, bro.
I'm very confused.
I didn't know that. Well, you're a big Desano fan.
No, I'm very confused.
No, because I remember when we were talking about the first collection, and I was kind of like,
I didn't like the first collection either. He put grey hoodies on the runway with embossed Gucci logos. That wasn't. I wasn't a fan of it either.
all right.
I remember that collection
maybe I'm
clearly.
confused. Maybe I'm confused, but I felt like I was on an island when I
Bro
was
talked about in the show notes. He talked about a return to high quality tailoring. He talks about a return to not looking at the fuss. And what does he do? He puts a grey hoodie on the runway. I mean,
crazy work.
talked about having expert tailoring and bringing a certain level of tailoring back to Gucci, and like no,
I thought
putting
that was,
sweatshirts and sweatpants on the runway.
yeah, all of that was disgusting. Let me be honest. No, actually, he might be a good designer. He might be, but he's not really for me.
Since then, I think Salvatore Desano has had some good collections. To be fair, I'll give him that.
No, yeah, I agree.
But
There's more to be
yeah,
seen.
I don't know about Salvatore Desano being my guy. I don't know about all
Back
of
to
that.
the main point. Back to the main point. Bernardo Arnault doesn't have it all. Yes, he's greedy. Yes, he's a shark. The problem is that this market that we're in currently, the way that we're talking about fashion is going to shift. Just like it's gone from YouTube videos to live streams, the way that fashion is produced is shifting as well. And a lot of people are talking about sustainability.
Has YouTube really shifted to streams though? I think that's
No,
more just,
YouTube
especially in
hasn't.
fashion. That's a me thing.
No, in fashion, it's a you thing. Throughout YouTube, it is a thing.
Yeah,
People are doing a lot more.
I think people are doing a lot more streams in other categories of content, but not in
Of course.
fashion.
Yeah, not in fashion.
In fashion,
But-
there's like two of us really that do consistent streams.
What I'm saying though
Who's the
is
other
that
person that streams?
the way that we
Jacob.
talk about Jacob.
Jacob.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Super Jacob.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the main, I guess, like my main point is that the way that we talk about fashion will change. Like even outside of this, the way that even streaming, I'm talking about like the context and the nuances of fashion will change, and the way we're talking about sustainability is going to shift. All of these things are going to change, and these companies are going to have to find a way to make what they're doing wavier. I'm not saying better designs. I'm talking about just better business, because currently they're not doing good business, and the consumer is going to catch up to the quality of everything because it's
Do you think that's ever
proliferating.
going to happen though? I don't.
It's prolifer. That's the
just don't
problem, right?
know.
It's proliferating to the consumer level. This is what I'm noticing. So it's one thing for people that are deep into fashion that care to speak about something, but when people can say, "Oh, if I buy something from ASOS, it's only going to last 2 washes," and then they're trying to go higher and higher, and then when I see the consumers, like especially the black ones, they want to talk about quality, they want to talk about this, they want to talk about that. When people are doing their research, I'm finding out these companies aren't making good quality stuff. The shift and practices of the consumer changes. That's how we see change in consumer behavior, and that's when companies actually have to acquiesce to the consumer, because the people that would actually buy aren't buying for one reason or another.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it. That's all I have to say on that one. I do believe business practices will shift though.
I mean, it would be interesting if that happens. I just don't know, because I just don't have faith in consumers. Like I'm very in the grand scheme of things, to be fair, I am very irrelevant if I'm being honest. Like my audience is not that big. So even though I shout from the rooftop every day, it feels like, about demand more from these luxury brands, I just don't think it's not moving the needle. I feel like the everyday consumer is just oblivious to everything. Just like, oh my God, like I'm a flex, let me buy Dior. Like don't know content of quality. So I don't really know if
look at the different ones. So let me put it like this. All right, let me sit in a little bit.
I just
when
don't
we're
think people care. Like,
people, this is the funny thing, people don't care. But when it comes to our generation specifically, or millennials, right? The age bracket shifts the thing, because a lot of millennials, in especially early millennials, were doing the Gucci belt around the neck with the Gucci hat, Gucci down to the socks, all of these type of things, right? Fun, fair. But that was 2011. Now we're coming to the shift in the millennials and the middle class millennials who earn 100k, 150 to a million in software engineering, cybersecurity, all of these other things. What are their life practices? Okay, there's a bunch of them that don't actually pay attention to fashion at all. All right, so that's part of the consumer, not even in there. All of those guys wear Abercrombie and Fitch and may go to Laura Piana at one instance. But the consumer behavior that would buy into LVMH or Kering, they're not buying for certain reasons or another. And
right.
they LVMH are gonna have to study that behavior. And that's what I'm saying. Because it's not happening and it's not growing, because their market in China is being stifled and all of these other things, they're gonna have to find different ways to grow their businesses.
Yeah, but what they've done, so because China, especially after post-pandemic, is no longer like a cheap labor market for these brands. So they're going to even cheaper labor markets. So that's where you see them going to places like Cambodia, for example.
Mm.
So I just don't know. Like I said, when it comes to consumers, I just have no faith. I just like I've tried. I've actually tried.
It's not about trusting the consumer though. We don't trust the behavior. We don't trust the consumer, we trust the behavior. So what
But
is
how's
the
consumer
behavior?
behavior? What would need to happen for consumer behavior in mass to change?
I'm okay. I'm not trying to be some sort of guru or expert or someone that's a savant in this, but I'm looking at the behavior of the people that are in the age bracket that should or would buy LVMH given particular circumstances. And what their stimuli are isn't, yo, I'm trying to flex anymore. That particular stimuli isn't there. The same person that would buy Celine perfume for £300
Uh-huh.
isn't the same person that would buy a Gucci belt for back in 2011 to put around their neck. That's not, that behavior shifted. Do you know what I'm saying? So what was the cause of that behavioral shift? There are certain stimuli and the way that you want to act within the environment that you're in, right?
But I
So
think that has to do with trends, though. I think it's just no longer socially acceptable to
are we,
flex in that way. It's seen as very crass.
but
So
there's other ways to flex though. This that's the
no, I
interesting
know,
thing
but
about
I'm saying that I question the reasoning for why people are dressing the way they're dressing. And what I mean by that is people that are now flexing more silently, more quietly, they're not I don't think they're doing it with the intention of I'm buying high quality clothes. I think they're going for an aesthetic. A lot of them are still clueless on what exactly the quality of what they're wearing is.
I would
So that's what
partially
I
agree.
mean. It's not going to change the way these brands operate because they're still going to make things cheaply. They're just going to give consumers this aesthetic that they want.
I do believe in what you're saying that there's in part the aesthetic profile of it, but then there's also a consumer with a quality profile. Like
I don't
that's
think
why
that consumer is like a big
that's
sector of
not,
the
but
market.
it's that's why we have market segmentations, right? And in that particular market segmentation, it has an influence. So the people that actually buy get influenced by other people who buy. So now let's say all of these people are in the same room and the one of the highest influence is the one that calls out quality. That person can shift the consumer behavior in that room because it's not the biggest flexer anymore. It's the person who has the most quality information just based on the what the actual conversation is in the room. Because
Do you know
when
what the
everyone
issue
is
is though?
flexing, all right, go.
Do you know what the issue is? So the kind of people that have the fame and the
Fame.
motion
Oh,
to like influence consumers in on that level, like people like Kim Kardashian, like they're not going to critique a brand. I don't even think Kim Kardashian knows what quality is, to be
Mm.
fair. Because I mean, look at Skims. So, to be honest, it's very hard to say. Like, even the most influential people, they work with these brands, so all they care about is their pockets. So, there's no integrity there. So, they're not going to like genuinely be like, oh my God, guys, like, this brand demand more because like I bought this thing and like look at the quality, look at the seams are ripping already. I only wore it once. I washed this piece, look, the dye is fading. They don't care. And the people that are that influential also, they're just so rich that if it does fade, they don't really care. They just get rid of it and buy a new one.
Okay, then I would have to ask, why are places, and I don't like, there's two points I want to make. Why would everyone, or why would places like Tanner Leverstein actually be so influential? Or why would they have such a massive following if people didn't actually care? There are people that care about the quality of the things that they're buying, right? Which is why Hermes came out with that documentary about themselves. That was an ad. Like, that was a Hermes, whether we believed it or not, that's an ad for them.
Uh huh.
They invested into advertising, in quotes, their quality practices. Whether it's true or not is not the point. It's the idea that they actually invested money into producing a piece of content or a piece of media that is to promote their company. So they're looking at the change in consumer behavior based on things like Tanner Leverstein. So I don't look to the celebrities. I look to the people who would actually pay the money to buy it. And then when we stand in those rooms, what are these people talking about? If they're talking about fashion, right? And those people generally can have this like bias. There's some people in that room with bias. They will talk about sustainability, but also have like the most expensive clothes on. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's not a conversation about sustainability. It's more so a conversation about, does this business align with my values? And if they're going to continually shift away from LVMH, the LVMH are just going to have to adjust. I'm not saying a major shift in sustainability, because this conversation ain't about sustainability,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Of
they're going
course
to
not.
have to adjust how they create quality, just like Hermes is going to
Yeah. Because
adjust
the,
how
the
they
the
create quality.
main conversation we're having is around why I think some of these LVMH brands are going to crash and tumble very soon
Mm,
because they can't grow anymore. And what happens when you make 20 billion a year in revenue, you have to build your infrastructure to make that 20 billion. So you have all these overheads like staff and like all these people. And the second that goes down, now you're in trouble because now you still have the infrastructure for 20 billion. Um, and their business model requires that they have to keep like cutting corners. Like there's no
mm,
other way. Their business model is baked in. They don't have a choice. They have to just keep going, finding cheaper ways, finding cheaper ways. Otherwise, shareholders buy shares and then the stock price stays the same for 10
mm.
years. No
Yeah, I
one's
agree.
the stock's not going to be worth anything if that was the case. So like people would rather put their money in a savings account, you'll make more money that way. So they're not going to
Yeah.
do that. They're going to have to keep pushing and it's going to lead to these brands crashing and burning because there's a cap.
But what's the thing after that crash, right? And I guess that's what I'm talking about. It's like after, because it's not really going to be a crash. It's going to be a dip, right? Just like when we're speaking
Oh
financially,
yeah,
it's going to
that's
be
what
a
I
dip.
mean. They're not going to
Yeah,
like disappear. They've got too much money to just
yeah.
disappear.
So they're going to have to shift their behavior because of the shift in consumer behavior. And if we now start saying stuff like, um, we want to source more locally, then the business is going to have to fork out local things, or should I say, invest in local areas and local places, so that they can use those tags or monikers, or even in quotes locally, right? You know how these
Hmm.
brands, you know what I'm saying, you
Facts.
know where that one is. But I guess my main source of understanding with this is just listening to the consumers, because I don't like making assumptions on consumer behavior, especially when it's so segmented without actually being there. So when I'm listening to the conversations that are being had between millennials that are aged like, let's say, 30 and up, it is a more quality conversation. It's not necessarily a flexing conversation. Of course, that's there, but then once everyone is flexing in the room, what is next? And part of that conversation is your clothes tailored? Are
Do
your
you know what I
sleeves?
think about all the time then when it
Yeah.
comes to this whole consumer, no consumer conversation? At the end of the day, I don't think consumers realize how much power they have, which is why it frustrates me because businesses will only do what they can get away with. Like, look at Burberry. Burberry
Mm,
decided they could increase prices, and customers said, well, we're just not
no.
going to buy it. And then they had to reduce prices. So now, if you want to buy Burberry, it's going to be cheaper. So that's the power of consumers. They don't have a choice. If
Mm,
consumers say no, they have to make a change. They don't have a choice. Otherwise, they'll make no money, and no business wants to not make money. So they will do exactly what the consumers want so they can start making money again. That is the leverage consumers have. So if consumers were like, let's say, like the most VIP customers of like a brand like Dior all came together on like, this season the jackets are really terrible,
mm,
we're not buying this season. Bro, they're going to be forced into changing it because they're not going to make any money. We've seen that with Burberry. It's like
mm.
we've literally seen it happen very recently.
Yeah, the problem is that Burberry is an individual, and I wouldn't be surprised if someone buys Burberry. I wouldn't be surprised.
All right.
But yeah, no, I agree with what you're saying, and there's massive value in the consumer behavior, right? And like just in one conversation, it's I've seen people buy Dior and then tailor Dior, right? That
Yeah.
happens a little quite frequently, but then when we start looking at it, it's like, yo, when the consumer learns that the quality of the fabric and the garment based on their tailor, because the tailors that they go to tailor their
We'll look
Dior
at it
are
like, damn.
expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. They're expensive tailors, and then the tailor's gonna be like, if I want to best look after this customer, what do I have to say to them? Now, obviously, I'm talking about a very minute segment. But then once that consumer finds out that the quality that Dior is given isn't what it's supposed to be, then they're gonna look for an alternative. And sometimes that alternative may deviate into Loro Piano, but then other ways there's going to be an independent designer, like you were saying prior. Like, and this is where I see the rise of actual true luxury designers. It's like it's going to be, oh, I want to have the best quality things, and then those businesses will rise to prominence. And that's why I think a lot of the good and great, more globally appealing African designers or Indian designers or South American designers will flourish is
Hmm.
from the fact that they tailor with the best fabric they know possible because that's all they can do. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's really what I have to say about that.
I mean, this is facts though. I think everyone tuning into the show isn't reflective of the fashion norm. I mean, true. I do attract
True.
like a more fashion forward audience, but I don't know how I could reach. Like, bro, how am I gonna talk to Matt who just wants to talk about football and like?
It's we talk about it in football terms, isn't it? You know what I'm saying? Reflective of fashion, of the fashion. Wait,
I'd be
I
like,
don't think we're the fashion.
basically, like,
I don't even think we're the
if
fashion.
your
No.
referee's messing up, mate, you got to invest in VAR. Oh my gosh.
Yo, this he's gonna be like, this brand has no bov trait at all. There's no finesse. There's no. It's just brute force, fam. He's kicking it up to the skies, kicking it to the ceiling, like
No finesse, no flair, mate, no touch.
no touch.
All power and brute force. Um,
But yeah, no. I also don't like to confuse myself and think that what I'm saying is a reflection of what people in fashion think.
yeah.
I don't like me who knows that I was early on caring. That means that I'm early on certain things as well. So that means I'm going to be early on tailoring everything that I own. And obviously, not a lot of people do that, but more people are going to lean towards doing that. and we're going to be early on sustainability, and that's just what's infused and baked into the conversations that we have, right? But
Yeah.
we're such a small part of that part of fashion. Do you know what I'm saying?
Wait, someone said, don't I have a sports channel? I think it was Culture. Yeah, so I do, but I don't post on it though. It's a football channel, but I don't post on it.
What do you say? What does someone say about India though?
Let me see. Indian fashion is a different league, a bit like Bollywood.
I don't know what you mean by that.
Yeah, I don't know what the angle is.
You already know who's gonna buy a Burberry. Yeah, that's gonna be funny. But I don't. But I think as a British heritage brand, they're gonna do everything in their power to not let Burberry be bought by a foreign entity.
Yeah. Have I bought something recently? Nope.
I have. I bought a leather jacket. I wear a lot of leather today.
Where from?
Um, I bought it pre-loved. It's pre-loved, second hand. It's
Nice.
from a leather goods store though. So I buy reclaimed leather. I don't buy new leather.
Let's see what Micah's analysis is. Different leagues in Spanish Football League. La Liga versus Prem. It's just a different league, different players.
Well, I don't think small brands are adding to the shift, but a lot of small brands existing create room for people to have alternatives. Like if you have the quality there baked into your brand,
Right.
then you open yourself up to being the alternative for a consumer that is looking for that. And obviously that's not a massive consumer base first. And just because you have, let's say, quality fabric doesn't mean that you're going to also get the customers that want quality. You also have to make what they want. You also have to have a point of view sometimes. It's like people thought you know, okay, there was the gilding part of hoodies,
Yep.
and then people were like, oh, it has to be 320 GSM. And then now there's people that think understand that 320 GSM doesn't mean that you're getting a
Yeah,
good
that's
quality.
what annoys me. And these people actually like try to educate people about fashion. Like, okay, if you want quality fashion, look for the cotton weight. And it's like,
Yeah.
no,
And it's like, and they go to
no.
Alibaba and it's all of these other things. And it's
It's
like,
like, no. And then they just buy 320 GSM forever because they think just because it's heavy, it's good. And it's
but
like,
yeah, that
no.
shift though is happening in, yeah, the GSM police are actually dumb.
It's like,
You know,
no.
but that shift is happening in streetwear of all places. That's happening in the lower end of streetwear. That's happening. Where
Yeah.
it's like, what? How do we get the highest quality hoodie? How do we create the best hoodie? How do we create the best basics, better than essentials? All of this. Is it terry cloth? Is it this? Is it that? You know what I'm saying? And then that shift happens other places. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah, not the GSM police. Leo's cooking. Talking about 400 GSM hoodies that shred when you wash it.
bro, it's crazy. It's crazy. Like these days, I don't even want a heavy hoodie. I don't want a hoodie that weighs over a certain amount. So like your GSM is just stopping me from buying
I
at
know
this.
where that comes from though. I think when people first get into fashion, they think quality is like, because you know, people tell you, oh, you can just feel quality, right?
Yes,
So then they equate, well, this is heavier, so this is thicker, so the quality must be higher. So I don't really, I can understand how that happens.
bro. They don't like, and they don't think about like the innovative technology. Never mind. See, that's the problem. Because I would go to the innovative technology side and say, listen, like you can make a great quality fabric that is lightweight, that is literally in the system today. But
Yep.
because they're going on Alibaba and looking at how many units can I get for £10 a pop, they're not really caring about the actual method of it all. And now, when on the consumer side, well, we've got a 400 GSM hoodie. Now it takes about a week to dry because, you know,
It's so
there's
damn
so much
thick.
water. It just holds water.
And you're
But
sweating your ass off because you thought getting
bro,
the
they,
500 GSM hoodie was
bro,
was
they
high
don't,
quality, but you don't even live in a cold country like that, so you're just sweating buckets.
bro. the people that are making it don't know how much of a bother it is to own something that weighs that much. They don't know. Like, and we live in a cold country, and a 400 GSM is too much.
It's way too much.
I
Way
might as well
too
have a
much.
jacket. I may
I'm
as well
literally
put on a
going to be
coat,
sweating in the cold. Like, seriously.
bro.
We don't live in Canada. We don't require such things.
At all, bro. So it's one of them ones where it's like to jump back into it. It's like that's happening in streetwear.
Yeah.
They're figuring that out in real time. So yeah,
Yeah.
no, because oh man, but I can go on a rant about thick hoodies because I don't need it. I can have a low GSM, great quality hoodie that can fit in my wardrobe that dries efficiently and doesn't make me sweat in winter. Like, you know what I'm saying?
It's
So,
actually because I sweat easily. So, like, yeah, I'm not wearing a thick weight hoodies, right?
bro,
High GSM in Miami is not.
yeah, no, it's actually no. These guys are crazy. These guys are crazy.
I feel like I
Like,
get this question every time I start talking about quality. It's
nah,
very hard to describe because there's so many factors that affect quality. Like it's the way the fabric is processed from the beginning. So say we're talking about something like cotton. So when cotton is processed, then it gets woven, and then but before it gets woven, sometimes it's treated. Now in the treating process, there's a good way to do it, but it takes longer, or there's a bad way to do it where you just smash these things in acid and heat to try and clean it and treat these things quicker, which is what like fast fashion brands do and people that don't really care about quality, which damages the fiber. So in every stage, when you process any fabric, by the way, this is mohair, this is anything, there are chances that the fibers can be damaged further. And the highest quality brands make sure that at every stage it's done the best way. If they need to dry the fabric, they'll air dry it. They won't put it under heat so it doesn't get damaged. If something needs to be treated, they'll use a solution that doesn't damage the fibers. They won't just do what is the quickest. You know what I mean? When it comes to weaving the fabrics that are woven tightly are the highest quality. It's why in Japan makes the best denim because they have these really old machines that other countries got rid of because they just care about speed and not quality. And so a lot of these machines are only really left in Japan, and they can weave cotton extremely tightly, which is why their denim is so sensational. So there's so many different factors and so many different stages, but over time you kind of get to know what that feels like, what that looks like, which brands do that, like over time.
yeah, no, there's so much that goes into quality, and people think, oh man, like people think just having an overlock stitch on their garment means this quality because the stitching is locked in. I'm just kind of like, bro. You can have a straight stitch and it be good. Never mind, fam,
He
because they
said,
don't know
never
like
mind.
the weight of an overlock stitch and what it does, how it creates a rigidity, stops
Especially if
you.
the fiber is thin, that's a disaster.
Yeah, and it stops you from being able to move properly. Like you want, there's not big maneuverability in certain with certain stitches. They don't stretch. Oh man, but yeah, like to me, there's quality is the objective part of fashion.
Yeah. There's
It
no
is.
like, yeah, there's no, it's not subjective. Like
Yeah.
with cashmere, it's either you dry it, you air dry it, which you should do, which companies that have high quality cashmere do, or you just blast it with heat and then push it to the next process. It's
Mm,
either or. There's no like subjectivity to it. It's either it's you air dry it and it's better, or you destroy it in heat and it's worse, which is what
mm.
most brands do. Um, so yeah, it's the most actually one of the few objective parts of fashion.
No, man. Polyester can be calm.
Yeah, polyester
Um,
can be decent.
and there's some really good polyester out there, but do not be confused. My rule of thumb is to look at where I'm buying the polyester from because there's some polyester I've got that has lasted 10 years solid.
And just generally, I don't think there's such thing as like a bad fabric, even though people are like, oh, polyester, this, that,
You
nylon.
know
I
what
think it
I'm
just depends
saying?
on what exactly you're using it for, like what's the application.
Mm,
But synthetic fibers are more likely to cause a reaction in more people than
mm,
natural fibers. So that's something to consider. But outside of that consideration, I think you can have high quality polyester, you can have terrible quality polyester. It
bro.
just depends.
You can have polyester that disintegrates in your washing machine, bro. That's how
Bro, literally
deep it is.
sharing microplastics with the rest of your clothes.
Yeah, bro. Crazy work, fam. Crazy work. You put the you, you put the polyester on too high of a spin, and then you bring out the fabric, and it's just entire fam.
Like, what happened? The worst one is like, because a lot of fabric should be pre-shrunk, but a
Yeah,
lot of companies and brands are lazy, so they they obviously don't do that. So you put it in the wash and you come out and you're like, bro, but I wore this like
yeah,
yesterday. Like, what's going on? I wore these
yeah.
trousers yesterday. Why are
Like
they
some
so tight?
Do you know what's interesting to me? A lot of people hang their knits, and you're not supposed to hang it.
Disaster. You're supposed to fold them.
And then
You're gonna destroy the threads.
they wash them on a high heat. And I'm
I
just
don't
kind of
wash
like,
anything on high heat. No, I don't wash
I
anything on
wash
high
I
heat.
wash my whites on a high heat.
Some people wash their whites on high heat, but I like,
You wash your whites on what? Wait, what do you put with? We're about to get into a roll.
yeah,
Never
yeah,
mind.
yeah. So I have like a very concentrated detergent, specifically that's meant to be used at low heat,
Okay.
for whites. It's like a bio, because bio is actually most times
All
in low
right.
heat.
Yeah.
Um, so that's what I use because I don't really have skin reactions to anything. I know a lot of people don't use bio detergents because skin reactions, they cause a lot of reactions in people, but I don't have that
Mm,
issue. But I'm just trying to protect my garments, bro. I have
yeah.
to wash everything in cold water because heat is just not good for garments.
Yeah. No. I look after my garments, but then yeah, like literally just my whites. I've not bleached my whites before, but yeah, like I like to treat them a particular way so that they can stay in shape.
Right.
I do treat them properly though. But yeah, no, it's so funny. Like yeah, if we are objective about certain things, especially within clothing, because we speak about fashion like such this like well, it's this a Kim Jones conversation, isn't it?
Yeah.
But when we start talking about clothes, quality clothes are not necessarily easy to spot, but you know it when you see it. And people tell you that they've had a garment for so long and it still looks like it's supposed to look. Yeah, that's quality. That's what a quality piece of clothing is.
Yeah.
It's supposed to last 10 years, even though some of these are made to last for one, if
And
that.
normally, let me give you guys an expert tip. Not that you guys would be asking designers questions, but like I've noticed whenever I like interview a designer, if I'm trying to figure out like if their clothes are good quality or not, I ask them about their supply chain. So designers that don't care about quality don't know what's going on in their supply chain because they wouldn't care. Like why would they? So you ask them, okay, how's your stuff made? How's it woven? How's it treated? Oh, we don't know. We just work with this factory. Maybe I should ask them. I already know the quality is bad. Because how do you not know how it's treated? Like designers that I speak to that make good quality garments, they know they're like, yeah, so we treat it at this temperature, we put it outside here for this long. Da, da, da. So anytime I see a designer that doesn't have a clue, I'm like, yeah, 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 the quality's terrible. I don't even need to feel it. I don't need to touch it. I don't need to see it. It's gonna be terrible. They don't know any. You have a
Yeah,
whole
no,
brand. You don't know where you're sourcing stuff from, and you're selling stuff to people. Wowzers,
bro. My
that's
problem
insane.
is that some of these designers are sourcing from Alibaba, and they're not even asking. Not saying that there's anything wrong with Chinese manufacturers, because manufacturers are becoming the new luxury. But
But bro, I hate that narrative that Chinese garments are not made. We talk about this all the time, but the
yeah,
reason
no, yeah,
why a lot of bad quality garments come from China is not because they can't produce the highest quality
of
things
course,
in China. It's because the companies that go there to produce go there with the intention to produce cheap things as cheap as possible.
Exactly.
So they just fulfill the market. If someone goes to China, and I know a lot of Chinese brands that make the best quality, some of the best quality stuff I've ever seen, and they produce in China, but they go to the factories where they're like, okay, no, we're not cutting corners like the other companies that come here. We actually want the best quality. So use, the machinery that you have to make the good quality stuff. They have everything. They have machines for everything. It's just that the companies that go there, it's normally to cut corners. I mean, look at Balenciaga. They produced the Triple S in Italy.
Mm.
All of a sudden, they increased the price of the Triple S. It weighs less, and now it's being produced in China. It's the intention. A lot of these companies, they go to China with the intention, okay, how can we maximize profits? If
Exactly.
companies went to China with the mentality of, we're just trying to use the fact that China has a lot of resources and we're going to make high quality goods, they would make high quality clothes.
No, for sure. And that's what I want to say. It's like these people are going to China to buy the cheapest thing. So for their business, they don't know how the clothes are being treated. They don't, and they want to make a brand to supplement their lifestyle and not an actual business that is about the care of clothing. And I do think that there is like brands are going to come out more now where there's going to be a lot more sentimentality in the storytelling because these people that are making stuff now care about clothes.
Mm-hmm.
Not to have a sustainability sentiment, but to have a care and quality sentiment. And I think that's the change in design. That's the shift in the designers now, because what are they actually going to sell when the term luxury is now oversaturated?
No.
And the term quality is even oversaturated. So people are just going to have to talk about their actual care for the creation of clothes from end to end.
Right,
And
I
it's
went to a factory the other day. Well, not the other day, it was like a few months ago. And I was talking to this guy, and we were talking about how in luxury fashion these days, a lot of brands use viscose.
mm,
And I asked him, like, because obviously I know
yeah,
about these things, but he's the expert. He has he owns a factory.
mm.
Um, so he like makes these these fabrics, right? So I was like, what do you think about how common it is now for brands to use viscose? And bro, he was mad. He was like, they're all cutting corners.
Oh man,
Bro, I was cracking up. It was so
no,
funny.
he's not that quite corner, bro. Yeah, no, there's so many brands use viscose. Like I read labels, and the
Bro, it's
problem is
actually like an epidemic, bro. Everyone is using viscose these days.
because I read label, and it's like hard to tell whether this garment is about to be quality just based on the composition of it, and it's just like,
No, no, no. You will never know the quality of a garment based
yeah,
on composition because, like,
exactly.
bro, 100% cotton can mean so
So
many different, like,
so many things.
so many. Like, how is it dyed? How tightly is it
It's
woven? Like,
woven, yeah,
bro, 100% cotton is quite literally meaningless. Is it
yeah.
organic? Is it not? Like, bro, it's so meaningless. Like, bro, denim. You can
Damn.
have the
Oh,
worst denim you've ever seen in your life, and it'll still be 100% cotton. And then Japanese denim is 100% cotton. Like,
yeah, made in Japan doesn't mean anything. I remember the conversation we had about Egyptian cotton.
yeah, because
Egyptian cotton don't don't mean that no more.
people, they scam these days.
Yeah, man. Saying your thing was made in Italy doesn't it's starting to not mean as much anymore, even though it's still like the highest known level right
I mean,
currently.
most of luxury fashion is produced in Italy. Funny enough.
Yeah, but then this the thing. Like, there's some places that have the best Portuguese factories. The Portuguese make some of the best have some of the best fabrications. So that's interesting, right? Where it's like in Portugal they're creating great things, and then in Italy they're making great things. But in both of those places, you can get the worst outcome.
Yep. You can get the worst and the best. Once again, it's about the
Yeah,
intention
exactly.
of whoever is making the brand or whoever is. It's all about you. You have a brief. They are just going to fulfill your brief. That's just how these things
Exactly.
work. That's just how it works. So, and there are many producer countries that are amazing across the world, whether that's Japan, whether that's Turkey, whether that's India,
Mm,
whether that's Italy, whether that's, parts of the UK, especially Scotland when it comes to things
spot.
like tweed, and other knitwear. It just depends. It depends what you're looking for. But if you care about quality, once again, you will know these things.
No, it's different. They're
Like if
like,
I had a brand, I would know how the garments are processed from beginning to end. Because if I didn't, there's absolutely no way I could guarantee quality. And if I can't guarantee quality, then like, bro, what are you doing? Why do you have a brand? Like, seriously.
yeah, no, it's difficult. It's
You don't
difficult to
actually know what
ascertain.
the clothing that you're selling is made of. You're just selling it to people. Like, what is that?
Yeah, it's sad because there's a point where brands reach where I can't stand if the thing isn't quality made. And then it's like because your systems, like your supply chain is built to a place whereby you're not you wasn't looking at quality from the beginning.
This is facts, by the way. Indonesia and Vietnam, that's facts.
Yeah.
Um,
So
that's facts.
they're just cutting corners. They cut corners too early and now they have a supply
By
chain
the
that makes
way, I
quality.
tell this to every designer I consult. In fact, I at this point, some brands like I can see that they start to get annoyed when I start talking about it. Like where I start to be like, I know you want to do that, but like if the quality is bad, how do you think that's going to affect the brand long term? But a lot of brands don't think long term, but I still put it in their head. Whether they listen to me is another thing. I mean, it's not my brand, but I always mention it. Always.
Mm. And that's the problem. It's like and I never actually say to brands that like, yo, this is going to be easy. Because it actually isn't easy. It's probably the most difficult part to like raise the because what we're actually saying is raise your startup cost. Like actually have quality assurance in the beginning. When for most companies, especially when you're trying to start up, quality assurance comes later down the line. But if you bake it into the process quite early, then you enable another part of your business to have a good fundamental so that long term
But
you're
bro,
now
these things are not that hard, you know. Like I think people make these things more complicated than they are. I'll give you a if you're a designer, let me give you an alley oop.
Q&A
So
does raise the cost though.
So there's a let me give you guys alley oops if you're a designer. So there's a fabric shop in Antwerp called Bakermat. Bakermat is a fabric shop that prides itself on sourcing the best fabrics from around the world. Like they genuinely do. But beside that, you can talk to the owners, and in fact they already go around fashion schools spreading the word on like what factories to use, where you can get things, where you can get really high quality things for good prices, where you can source things. You can ask them yourself. They will tell you. These things are not, people think these things are like so hard to find. They're like, you have to go to hell and back to find this information. It's there. Everything is online. Like you can find this stuff easily.
The problem is that like the cost let's say the cost per garment goes up £2 in a full size run. That's a lot of pounds. And that's where I understand it. It's like if the brand already has money and they have the seed money, I fully get it. But then if they don't, or should I say if they're working with startup costs, then I understand why they do certain things. But there's the problem. You can't do the two things at once. You can't preach quality,
Yeah.
you can't preach great design, and then have terrible quality things being made. And it's a little bit of an internal war because boy, it is actually tough. It's tough, especially if you're a new person, middle class, or even from a working class background, and you're just trying to get something up the ground, and yeah, the quality just isn't there because you don't have the money for it yet.
Bro. Let me not say what I want to say.
Is that what you want to say, man?
Because, like, it's not, no one is holding a gun to someone's head to start a brand. You know what I mean? Like, starting a brand is not like a necessity in life. Like, there's no, like, if I don't start a brand, I'm going to die. Or, like, if I don't start, you know what I mean? Like, starting a brand is not a, you know
That's
what I
tough,
mean?
though.
It's a choice. People who are in the worst situations in life are not thinking about starting brands. When I lived in a village, the villagers weren't coming to me like, Ayo, how can I start a brand? Like, that's not. So if you're going to start a brand,
That's
if there's
wild.
certain things you can't afford, maybe you do have to like save more to like do it properly. You know what I mean? Because if you do it lackluster, you might just be wasting money because you're not doing it well. You know what I mean? So
Mm.
that's what I was going to say, where it's not like a brand is not. People that are in poverty aren't starting brands to try and get out of poverty. Like, that's not how it works. If you're starting a brand, you already have a very high level of privilege that you probably don't realize. So why not just wait slightly longer, learn a few more things? I think it's this idea that people force themselves to start brands immediately. Like, why are you starting a brand when you don't have the expertise or the knowledge? Why? Who is forcing you
What else
to
would they
start a
do?
brand? Who has the AK-47 at your head?
Okay,
Like,
all right. Let's go through this a little bit. What would they do?
because I feel like sometimes in fashion we have this woe is me, like, oh, but
What should they do? Is the question then.
don't
If they
start the brand until they can do it properly. There's already enough clothes in the world. Like, if you're
okay,
gonna make clothes,
my
you
question would
know,
be what is properly?
like actually have an idea of how they can make quality garments within their budget.
All right. So I guess my thing would be there is a level of quality.
But I have something to say.
Quality is a moving slider, isn't it? So you can have low quality or high quality, right? I I don't mind someone starting a brand with, let's say, middle of the road quality, so long as they're not preaching that their brand is of the highest quality.
True, middle of the road. I'm not too mad at that for a new brand, but bro, let's be for real. Most brands that I see on Instagram are not
Yeah,
middle of
no,
the road
yeah, they're not
quality,
middle
bro.
of the road quality at all. No, I can
They
agree.
print blanks on Fruit of the Loom, bro, and I don't know why those
Bro,
brands
oh my
exist.
days. No, these brands are actually trying to bring back Fruit of the Loom from the dead.
I don't
I
know
thought,
why those
I
brands
thought we left
exist.
them in 2016. I'll be real. I thought we left
If
Fruit
you
of the Loom.
print blanks on Fruit of the Loom and you call that a brand, your brand doesn't need to exist. I'm being so honest. I'm being so
Oh,
real. Um,
so tense, fam. No. Yeah, no, I'm
this
trying.
is facts, but we need to unpack why some people feel pressured to start a brand. I think this comes down to worldview and self knowledge. Yeah, because it's like, what is this like? Oh, but it's hard. Like, no one, I don't understand. Since when was it like compulsory to start a brand? Am I missing
Um,
something?
there is a compulsion that people get towards entrepreneurship fairly.
But you know, entrepreneurship is expensive. Bro,
Yeah,
I don't, why would anyone start a business and not be fully prepared and not do like the adequate research? That means you're not a good business person to start with.
tense.
That means you're already not even thinking about. And designers do this a lot. This is why designers are terrible at business, and they always need, business people to help them because they don't have a clue. Like, why are you gonna start a company, a whole
Okay,
brand, no knowledge? You don't know anything about factories. You don't know where you're gonna source fabrics. It's just all vibes, bro. Why are you
okay.
starting a brand?
But here's my thing, yeah. Fashion Roadman is a brand. So when would you say it would have been okay for you to start? Because you didn't know everything you know now when you were starting.
But bro, I had a very strong base level of understanding, and me now, bro. This is not Mister I talk online. This is Ayo who went to CSM, who's written for the top magazines in fashion and consults for luxury brands. That's
Yeah.
just the reality of like who I am or like what I've done in the industry. Um, so it's not the same. I'm
Yeah.
not the same as someone starting a brand with like no.
You think you're not? Wait, you're the entrepreneur. Like, is analogous. I'm not saying it's the same. I'm saying it's analogous.
Right.
People don't have all the information in the beginning. They learn the information along the way.
No, no,
Some
no.
people
So
just don't know what they
I'm not
don't know.
saying you have to have everything, but you have to have like you have to have a certain base level of understand. Bro, I'm telling you, this is why like who was this designer that I reacted to? This New York designer. I was like, what the
Listen,
fuck?
I'm okay
Um,
with saying everyone should humble themselves to their position and know when it is okay to start what they want to do. But
do you
then I'm
know what? Do you
also
know I'm passionate
yeah.
about this?
Okay,
Because
go
I
on.
work with a lot of designers and they don't have a clue. Like there was a I
Yes.
reacted to this Financial Times article. I've forgotten the designer. She's based in New York. This woman basically got her mum to invest her life savings into her
Golly.
brand, and she had no plan for the brand was just vibes. And now you put your parents in debt, your family in debt for some bullshit vibes brand. Like you don't even know what you're doing. You don't have a business plan. You don't have like I just like what are you doing?
Yes, that makes sense.
You're putting your family at in jeopardy. Like what? Yes, it was Elena Velez. Yes, it was. So like that's what I mean. Like sometimes designers just don't know what they're doing, but they
I've heard of
actually
it.
don't know
Yeah.
what they're doing.
You think of this like your pools are the scum of the earth though. Those like, I'm just thinking about the regular guy. He's 16,
But bro,
17.
I have to use examples.
I guess no, I guess my examples, yeah, they come from or the way the person I'm preaching from is like their friend they got one friend that's a drug dealer, another friend that's a driller, and they like the other friend is academic, and the only thing that this person knows how to do is graphic design, and that is
Yeah,
their only skill. And what can they do with this skill? They know how to draw pretty okay and do good photoshops and all of these type of things.
yeah,
That person is probably 9 out of 10 times going to start a brand or make posters or do graphic designs for another streetwear brand until they can get seed money to do whatever it is that they feel like doing. But like they like the person I'm thinking about is picking a legit life in terms of the only skills that they know possible. Like when your friend is earning whatever however much money in their street pharmacy business,
hmm
their other friend is like about to go prison on an M charge, and you're not the best academically.
You said I find the scumbag examples.
No, but to me, no, those are the scumbag examples though. Like the person that I'm thinking of is that like I'm a graphic designer or I'm an artist. I believe I'm an artist. I need to
Graphic
try.
design does not cost the amount that starting a fashion brand costs.
No, no, not well. To be fair,
It doesn't, bro.
fashion is high,
Fashion is one of
is
the like,
cash intensive.
yeah.
But the problem is that starting a graphic design business is also expensive.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's not expensive, but I'm just saying that like
Yeah,
there's other things you can do. Like, bro, starting a YouTube channel is not like starting a fashion brand.
for sure.
Starting a YouTube channel, you don't even need just you have a phone, start filming on your phone. That's it. You don't even need to buy a mic, nothing. You have a phone, start filming on your phone. I know people that get more views than I will ever get on YouTube, and they just film on their phone, no mic, nothing, no equipment. So starting a fashion brand is a whole different thing.
Okay,
That's a whole
this the
different thing.
problem though with what Kyle said. Like this whole go learn thing. Where? Like we're saying the internet is a big place, but the internet is a very, very big place. The information that is out there is so far large and wide is that how can you understand the good piece of information? This is a conversation on quality again.
Bro, I'm not Molly May. I'd never say we all have the same 24 hours. That's some Molly May
No,
speak.
no, yeah, no. Like I'm saying that the 18-year-old or the 24-year-old, let's not even call them 18. The 24, 25-year-old that actually has their prefrontal cortex fully grown still doesn't know everything they need to know about making a quality fashion house.
Yeah.
You're not going to know that until like you're probably 35-ish. But you can start in one little way or the other. And that's kind of what I'm saying here. It's like, we don't know the information we
Bro,
don't know, but we
all
get
I'm
it.
saying, because I feel like I have a responsibility to
Graphic
give
code is
my
crazy.
audience like the reality of like some of these situations. If you're a designer and you have no plan, don't start a brand because I see it. I see these designers all the time. I'm just like, bruh, that's not gonna last. Um, because fashion design is too cost intensive. Like having a brand is too cash intensive to just not go in it with no plan. You're just going to end up in debt. Honestly,
Yeah, I agree with you in part. It's just that like some people just have a burning desire to make things. This is why when I consult, not even consult, when young people just come to me, fam, and they're just like, I need to know what you know. I have to tell them, listen,
you can
I
start in fashion boyfriend. You can start fashion journalism now. It's not like starting a brand. It's not cash intensive.
yeah, you can make a website
Yeah, you can
and
make a website, start a TikTok, start
Substack,
an Instagram today.
Twitter.
Obviously, you might have a few issues where you might have a few knowledge gaps. Try not to embarrass yourself in terms of don't like
Um,
don't try and be an authority on things that maybe you don't have as much knowledge about. But I don't think there aren't really too many barriers to entry with fashion journalism the way it is with starting a brand. I think you can start whenever, to be honest.
yeah, you can start fashion journalism at 15, 16 if you are really that good. But the problem is that you, unless you studied fashion for the whole 16 years of your existence, you're probably going to have massive knowledge gaps. But look, here's the upside. There are people that only talk about Dior, Louis Vuitton, Gucci, and they have a
Hmm.
good fashion career. Like all they
Facts,
know is McQueen,
facts,
Dior, and Balenciaga.
facts.
So yeah, no. Anything to do with words, you can pretty much start straight away. That's how I met most of the people in fashion is just by writing. But like I don't know whether there's a massive difference between me and someone starting out though.
Yeah. Culture says just speaking facts, but I know many in-debt designers or designers that just don't make great quality garments. Aspirational lifestyle delusion is real, and is a real problem. Um,
It's
what I'm
up
saying
to
is that like you can start a brand, but like know what you're doing. Like
that's
do
yeah,
some research. Don't just like wake up one day and be like, oh, okay, I'm inspired by Virgil Abloh. I'm gonna be a
yeah.
millionaire. Like it's
Let me
just not
put my
going to
life
happen for you.
savings
It's just
into
not going to happen.
starting this fashion brand. Please don't do that. Don't put your life anything into
And
like
it's always like
mm,
people that think they can replicate what they see, they never do their research. And this is part of not doing your research because I remember when Virgil Abloh became big, a lot of Instagram brands like popped up. They're trying to be the next Off-White. But all of them forget because they don't do their research that, bro, when Off-White was started, Dammy, let me see if, who did Virgil Abloh start Off-White with? When he renamed it to Off-White, when he rebranded it to Off-White. Who did he launch it with?
oh oh wait, are you talking about the group that he launched it with?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, yeah. New Gods.
Bro, New Guards Group.
Yeah.
So, bro, you don't have New Guard. You're not gonna be Virgil Abloh. Like,
Yeah, no.
who
Like he
was
launched
wearing
it with a
who
group
was
of
wearing
yeah,
his clothes in his first campaign when it was Pyrex?
yeah. It was I ASAP Rocky, I
There
think,
we go. So,
and the
so
whole ASAP
if
mob.
if you don't have someone like ASAP Rocky to market your stuff, when you rebrand, you're not basically building it with people that have insane infrastructure, like Claudio Antonioli. Like these are geniuses in fashion business that Virgil Abloh was working with
Yeah,
side by side, side by
yeah.
side.
Kanye
You're
West.
not him. So,
Like
so,
before.
so if they did their research, they'll realize, oh, maybe I should go and learn first, network, gain contacts, and then I can leverage those contacts to actually then start a brand the proper way
Bro,
where it could be sustainable. But what do? They just start the brand, spend loads of money, it doesn't go anywhere. Now you've wasted money.
That's
That's
even
not responsible. That
that's
like if I was giving someone advice, it's not responsible for me to just be like, yeah, just start a brand.
yeah,
Like you can
no.
be the next Virgil Abloh. Like no, you can't.
Yeah, all
You're
these
not friends with Kanye
entrepreneurs.
West. ASAP Rocky is not in your campaigns. You're not launching your brand with New Guards Group. Sorry.
Yeah, all these entrepreneurs that are like, just start now. Yeah, don't. When it comes to certain things like this, don't start. Think, because Virgil Abloh is a great case study because he started out as a graphic designer, but the problem is he started out as a graphic designer to the biggest artist in the world at that point in time. In like it was 2008, 2009 Tumblr era. Meets Kanye, becomes an intern for Kanye, and now Kanye's flying him to Japan, France, Italy, everywhere, learning about clothes. And
Yeah.
then they go do whatever they do at Fendi, go do whatever they do at Italy, talk to Louise Wilson of all people.
This is facts. Like this
Kim
knowledge I'm
Jong.
giving is free, by the way. It's not like I'm not telling you buy my course and learn more. Like
Yeah,
ask
no,
me the questions, I'll give it to you for free.
yeah,
It's
like
not and these things aren't rocket science anyway. um I get weary of people with courses because, bro, most people that sell courses, and most people on the internet, from what I've seen, that sell not all, of course. There are people that like you can always tell anyway. But most people that sell courses are normally people where they actually have no job, like their job is the course. So they sell you on the fact that okay, I made a lot of money in this industry doing X, but actually most of their money comes from the course itself, which they then use that money to then actually tell you that oh no, that I made the money, and it's just like a crazy cycle.
mm, no, it's different still. I get it though. I get everyone's perspectives, but the one thing I would say is don't start. But at the same time, you gotta start. You gotta start somewhere. You gotta use all the information you know at your disposal to
Wow.
create the best thing possible. And for some of us, the best thing we know is a t-shirt or a hat, and I respect it because,
Yeah.
bro, you're trying your best with whatever money that you've got, fam. But then there's also understanding you gotta humble yourself to the situation
Yeah.
because if you're not selling hundreds of hats, you know, quarterly, then you gotta
Wait,
figure out a new
is
plan.
someone saying BlackRock stole their
Hmm?
logo? What? Wait, Siobhan, did BlackRock steal your logo? Yo, I'm not sure if you can fight that one.
Yeah, no, you gotta tax that one to the game.
Yeah, I
You
think
gotta
you
tax
got to
that one to
charge
the
that
game.
onto the game. Oh my gosh, BlackRock. Oh hell no.
Yeah, man.
I'll leave that one alone. I'll make a new logo.
That's yeah, no, it's a whole new. You gotta do the whole new logo thing, Kelsey. Oh
Ooh
yeah,
wee, that's crazy. If
yeah,
you want to know what happened to PMR, subscribe to the Cutting Room Floor Patreon. And Rachel Mondi will give you, as someone that worked with Kirby Jean Raymond, she will tell you exactly what happened.
I'm still subscribed to her Patreon. That's crazy.
That's me supporting other creators that make good stuff.
Yeah, like yeah, no, because as someone who's even launching their art business, like yeah, no, you gotta humble yourself to the situation.
Right, LVMH stole my idea. What should I do?
Yeah, tax it, tax it.
Charge it to the
Yeah,
game.
man.
There's actually nothing you can do. What are you going to do? Fight their lawyers? Good luck.
Listen, take it as
Um,
this way. At least your ideas are worth stealing. Make a new one. That's
to be fair, a lot of these, I remember when I was at CSM, right, a lot of designers, I felt so sorry for them, bro, because obviously you have to like intern at fashion brands in third year. And a lot of
yeah,
designers, obviously, in applying for these internships, you would have to show your portfolio to the brands. And bro, the amount of students whose work got stolen was like unreal. The amount of students that came back the next year vexed, like showing me their portfolio, like, look at what this brand copied. Balenciaga is one of those culprits, by the way.
yes, massive cop.
Um, I'll just let you guys know now. Balenciaga is definitely one of those culprits. I've seen people's portfolios, and I've looked at a Balenciaga collection, and these people have applied to Balenciaga, and they're like, "Io, but you saw the portfolio," and I'm like, "I did, I did, I did." They stole it bar for bar. That's crazy. So it's not fashion is messed up. Nothing is safe.
That and then that's when people started accusing Virgil of stealing their designs as well. That was that
Hmm.
era. That was hilarious. Now Virgil was different, like, but obviously back in them days, woo,
See,
it
this is
was
a hard one because you say don't bring up bread-winning ideas to portfolios, but then if you're bringing lackluster ideas, then you might not get the job. So it's kind of
bro.
like it's a vulnerable position to be in, to be honest.
As someone that helps people build portfolios, don't do that. Don't do that. They need to be breadwinning and they need to be worth stealing. And then you
Yeah,
just have to make sure that because you just have to make sure that you find someone that's good enough that doesn't want to steal your ideas. They want to pay for you to make more of those types of ideas because
yeah,
it's really the thought process that goes behind it. Because some people, I'll be real, some people they only have that one idea and it's a picture and there's nothing that actually went in behind it. It's just the face value idea with no depth to it. So
yeah,
that's not really stealing someone's idea or stealing someone's concept. You're stealing a finished product, which is really just copying, which is really just like,
yeah. If
you know,
it is very much this in the industry, damned if you do, damned if you don't. Facts.
but like your best ideas in your portfolio, especially if they're portfolio ideas, they have to be worth stealing.
But this is why nepo babies have it so easy because nepo babies don't need to be scared about having their ideas stolen because they just get the job.
That's real.
They just get the
I
job.
love this collection, by the way. This one,
Yeah, so they don't even need to hand in portfolio sometimes. So they just, yeah, they just, they're
yes,
just enjoying life, living life, having a blast.
coasting through uni, paying
Yeah,
someone to make their garments, everything. Bro, I remember when I found that out that people were paying other students to make their things, and the students were doing it because they needed money
bro,
to
this is
pay
why
for their
I
garments.
think at CSM they're looking at like when I was there, they were looking at changing the marking criteria. Even on my course, this was the case because it's not fair. Like it's not fair that one designer has to hand make their whole collection and another designer is rich so they can get their garments made by literally a Savile Row tailor.
Yeah,
Like, bro, that is not fair. Because if anything, after the degree, the more skilled designer is the person that handed it themselves. Because do you know how much you learn from a fashion design perspective when you have to overcome all the problems that will arise when you have to like you have to do your own patterns, you have to make your own patterns. It might be wrong, you have to readjust it, you've wasted fabric, so now you're thinking about, okay, I don't want to like, okay, let me do this properly this time. You're going to be a way better designer. But that person's collection looks better, but they're not a better designer though. They just have money. That's it.
wait, Sharon, people kept taking your ideas. What type of? That's crazy.
Wait, Siobhan is a Napa baby. Yo, Siobhan might be. I might be talking about Siobhan's parents sometimes on these streams.
Kroger,
If
BlackRock.
you're a fashion Napa baby, I apologize in advance if I ever mention anything about one of your family members.
That's
It's
funny,
all in
fam.
good faith.
That's funny.
Um,
Damn. Okay. Damn,
I
she
don't
got
actually
low.
dislike anyone in fashion. To be fair, I just use people for examples, or we review runway shows. That's it. Like Elena Velez, I don't. I actually like her designs. I just think that there's no business acumen. That's just a factual statement. Is that I don't have any issues with her. Um,
Yeah. A
and she was the
blacklisted
one
nepo
that decided
baby.
to do that article also. So that has nothing to do with me. I wasn't the one that wrote in the article. I literally just talking about what I read in an article. I wasn't
Is
the
she
one
a,
that wrote. Her mum was spending her life savings on her brand. That has nothing to do with me. You disclose that information for the world to see. um,
okay? So is she a nepo baby or someone that just squandered their mom's life savings and a terrible business person?
wait, who are you talking about? Siobhan?
Yeah. No,
I have no
Elena.
idea.
Elena.
I don't think Elena is a nepo baby at all.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm thinking. Is
No,
that's
she's not. She's not. She's not. She's not.
That's for someone that doesn't have good business acumen.
She had to get it out the mud.
Yeah, but yeah, no. That was that same era where like millennials, it was massive hustle culture.
Wait,
And
how can you be a blacklisted nepo? I've never heard of that.
What did you do at the Christmas party?
Yeah, like, what did you do at the Christmas party?
No, what did you do at the country club? No, it's the country club. It's not even the
Like, your nepo status is supposed to push you through, not blacklist you.
Yeah, no. Because we work in law. Oh,
Wait, a black is because we also work in law and are against slavery, both sides of family. Oh, damn.
damn.
Damn, that's the when the family is at odds morally. That's crazy. Damn.
Interesting.
They said you don't like slavery, we are
Oh.
turning off the money tap.
Someone
That's
said must
crazy
have
work.
dated a poor. You guys are crazy, bro.
You guys are insane.
Oh, fam. This was fun though. I do have to start
No,
my
it
day.
definitely was. I definitely need to leave too. We've had
Yeah,
enough chatting because we haven't done one of these really long lives in a while, so it was cool.
Bro,
while
I
it
didn't
lasted.
expect it.
I didn't either, to be fair.
But it was fun. But yeah, 1st and the 15th dropping tomorrow.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So anyway, shout out to you guys. Siobhan, I hope you're okay. Blink twice if you're, okay.
Trust
And I'll see you guys in the next live stream. Thank you for tuning
in
in.
a bit.